Welcome back, everyone, to SuperJump. My name is Rissa, joined here by Kyo, was it right?
Yes, hello and welcome to SuperJump. Also from my side, that was a great pre-wave that we saw here, especially with those really intense games. And we will have more of it today and now because we also have some. We actually have more groups in Wave B than in A, right?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So, these teams got to, when they sign up for this, they get to pick, if they want to be in Wave A or Wave B. So, there must not. Do you know, was there a cap, for that? Or they just kind of let teams specify which one they wanted?
I haven't read the rules or something like that.
Me neither.
Because I wasn't participating. But I think the teams could actually pick whenever the time would be right. So yeah. To be fairly honest with you, I would also play at 21 o'clock. I would even play on 22 o'clock. But,
yeah, it looks like when the teams got to sign up, they got to specify, and then the TOs and the people running the tournament tried to balance it out the best. So totally makes sense that this later wave has a bigger showing up since it's a little bit later in the day. People get to wake up, have their morning. So that being said, we are going to be jumping straight into Wave B of SuperJump here shortly. And we do get to see the teams that we got to watch already, too. So we're going to see Sanctum versus the Grillers. And I know, Kyo, you know a little bit about Sanctum. Is that right?
Yes. Valtteri Bottas would say traditions because it's another episode of a German commentator commentating a German team. Sanctum, especially Super Waffle, Dynasty Dragons, lowercase Omega, by the way, and Heaven are actually German. That is actually the team Sanctum, but they were called but earlier they were called Dynasty Dragons Wave. And for those who actually are watching a lot of IPS Splatoon tournaments, especially Low Ink, a little flashback, March 2021. The incident on tower control on Mako Mart where the entire team disconnected and dropped from grand finals.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So they are back. Hopefully they don't have to drop out of this tournament too, but I'm pretty sure they will not do that because there was a pre-wave at 15 o'clock German time, or actually Central European summertime. Yeah, do you have any information on the Gorillas? I think I played against them in Low Ink as well, but it's a whole new. It's not a whole new roster, but I see a lot of new names here.
Yeah, the names that stand out to me are going to be Devi and Takura. The other names, though, I kind of agree. They don't necessarily look too familiar to me. Pasta Mary, Topic Waste, Ariel, and Nivea King don't stand out to me right now. But, maybe once I see them in the game, what weapons they play, maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, Devi, of course, well known for being a Hydra player, which is, rare in these days in the game. And then Takura, I've previously seen her play support, but I've also seen her try and play a more aggressive role. So we'll have to see what they end up coming out with.
All right, and the prediction has started now, so you can use your channel points onto the prediction to get more channel points to be more mighty. Yeah, no, yeah, but it's actually pretty even. It goes between completely Sanctum and a bit of the Gorillas, 86-14 right now, and it jumps back and forth. So I believe it would be. Oh my god, it's 50-50 even. So I believe it will be an even match. And if we look at the maps, we got Wemmick at the start step of Kale, that's cool. Clamlets on Piranha Pit, and Splat Zones on Humpback Pump Track.
Ooh, are you a Rainmaker fan, Kyo?
Sometimes, sometimes, especially on maps where you can cheese out a lot, like a Manta Maria, where you can just jump
Mhm.
out of bounds for a bit and just score some points. I pulled that out quite often. So if I pick up the Waymaker, if you see me pick up the Waymaker, I will always go that basket side and do that little cheese move there. And on the Inkblot Art Academy, you can just you can just swim behind the wall that you use to get onto the onto the tree there at Plat.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Those
and
sneaky routes.
yes, but hopefully, I don't know any cheese. Oh wait, I actually know one, which involves the grate on near the goal on Snapper Canal, but I don't believe that the teams are going to use it, as it is a bit too obvious and way too exposed to do so.
Yeah, Snapper Canal Rainmaker, there's always it's the path on the left or the path that's straight up that street, and it's always just really depends if you have the best advantage going left or right, and you just kind of have to guess and see. And I mean, I've seen people too try and take the Rainmaker around that flank area, but that's very rare. I hardly see it, but I have seen it done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and after that, we're getting on Clamlets on Piranha Pits. I honestly speaking, I really don't like that map, especially on Clamlets. It's really tricky, especially for a T-Tech main like me. You really can, if you have a bad opening, you kind of struggle to get the defense going, because you have a short range weapon, and the only thing you can do is flank over the middle entry or even over the drop. But doing so, it might be risky, because 9 out of 10 cases it will be covered off by the opponent. So in Clamlets, consistency is key, definitely.
Yeah, I am personally, for some reason, I like Clamblets Piranha Pit a lot better than I like Zones Piranha Pit. It feels so like Zones Piranha Pit, you get not locked out. So like if you get locked out and you can't get back in, it can be really difficult to get back in. I don't know. I must be. I don't know if I'm weird or not, but I'm a Clamblets Piranha Pit fan.
But we must not forget that this is Clamblets, where everything is possible. I just want to say TR31 against Tomodachi at the pre-stream in Wave A. I just want to say that that was really close, and that was really unfortunate as well.
Yeah, that was an insane set.
A certified Clamlets moment.
Yes, absolutely. Now, looking at this too, so game 1 is going to be Rainmaker on Snapper, and anytime I am commentating or playing Rainmaker Snapper, there is always a custom jet squelcher that likes to show up. So, knowing that the Grillers has Devi, I'm really interested if Devi's actually... I don't think she'll switch off the Hydra, but, gonna have to see what ends up happening with that. And then Sanctum, do you know if they have a quote-unquote anchor backline player?
Waffle, so the lowercase Omega player has a bamboo, but I don't believe that is going to be the case here, especially on Waymaker. Oh, okay, Waffle is going to play the bamboo. Alrighty then, we are off! And away we go, and we have some interesting weapons here. Both teams with an Anzap, and the other Anzap on the Gorilla side with full full charge up. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they are ready to be able to utilize that armor as best they can. So starting out here, one gonna go down on each side right now, and just a juggle happening in mid. It looks like there was actually a flank on the Griller. Snipe was able to get that called out there though. Really good call out, but in those picks that Sanctum got, they are gonna take the Rainmaker and start pushing it.
Wow, Super with a great flank with the K-Gale, and Imiti with the Waymaker goes down there. The K-Shot with a good job picking it up, but it's a 3v1 situation right now. The K-Shot has to retreat as Waffle picks up the Waymaker, getting some more points onto the scoreboard. And can Waffle stick the jump? Yes, they do, and that is 30 down now for Sanctum. And that is a huge push for starters. However, we still are in Waymaker, we still are in Snapper Canal, so everything still can happen for the Gorillas, as they are now trying to get the defense done, resetting the Waymaker. However, Super going into the push here, flanking 2 people out of their base, and that weakens the defense and the offense of the Gorillas a bit there. That was a great trade here from Super, a 2v1 trade. That is always very lucrative.
Yeah, that was really good. And now with the Rainmaker resetting here, Sanctum is actually able to re-grab the Rainmaker yet again. So they are just keeping that pressure onto the Grillers right now. The Grillers, you know, really hasn't gotten a moment to find their footing as another member of the Grillers does go down. We're seeing Medi here helping pop the Rainmaker and is doing their best to just kind of puppy guard it. There's 3 down, though, on the side of Sanctum. The Grillers is finally getting in a better position. They know that it's just Medi up there left on Sanctum, and now they're letting the Rainmaker reset once again to try and hopefully get some map control to get some specials for a push.
Nice call for Medi there, not to go for more kills, as they were last there. And yeah, now the armor is pulled. Medi going for the flank. The Dynamo is down already, and that's the NZ Blast, and I think they got exposed, and they're jumping back in order to get the safe armor there, but Medi with the Waymaker trying to score now. It's close to 30, Medi scoring a bit there, and that might be the KO if Medi goes up there onto the platform, and that is the KO for Sanctum here as they lead 1-0 at this set now.
Sanctum did such a good job at just kind of keeping like constant pressure, and even though the Rainmaker reset, what was that, like 2 times, they did a really good job at regrouping back in mid together, not overextending, and making sure that they played really well together. The Grillers, they had that little moment where they were able to let the Rainmaker reset, and they had 3 down on Sanctum, but they just weren't able to push up and get the map control that they needed fast enough, I think.
Yeah, Sanctum actually was really aggressive on the power. You could already see Super with the Kegel. I believe was 2 times really significantly at the front there, getting some good picks. I believe that was 2 times 2v1 traded. I do not really know, but that was 2 times so significant, that flank, that it have weakened the Grillers in really significant situations, and that is that really extended in the whole game, because the Grillers really struggled to fire up the game. They couldn't get a single break. The only break they got is where Medi was last. However, they recovered so quickly that Grillers had to go to the defense again and try not to get wiped, so they have a little chance to actually win the game with a 30 lead or so at the bottom for Sanctum. And yeah, they really struggled because Sanctum is so aggressive, especially with the NZEP and with the Kegel, which can go really aggressive. It's hard to keep up. I can fully understand.
Yeah, you know, having the Grillers did have a Dynamo player, and I feel like that maybe potentially with the aggression paired with that Sanctum had throwing at them, could definitely see that, you know, making them, the Grillers, have to like play a little bit slower, you know, try and regroup faster. But I felt like Sanctum like recognized that, and they were able to just use situations to the best that they did, and they just really recognized things really fast and played really aggressively, and they just played that really well. So going into the next one, which will be Clam Blitz on Piranha Pit, you know, we were talking about previously, Kyo, that this is a map that is more suited for like longer type ranges, but both of these teams coming out with similar comps to what we previously saw. Longest range on the map right now is going to be that Bamboo player on the side of Sanctum, and then Ariel coming back with the Dynamo on the side of the Grillers also. So very similar comps. We're going to have to see what happens here as we start the match off. 1 member down on each side.
The notable change on the Gorilla side is the K-Pro actually. So you've already said that Piranha Pit is more the map for like longer range weapons, and now they have swapped the NZAP with a more ranged weapon, which is the K-Pro, which is a good choice in my opinion, because Clamless Piranha Pit is definitely requires a different strategy, but the thing is, they're getting aggressive against Sanctum as they make the first push going on. Heaven getting some clams in, trying to get the kill, only gets the trade though, and that is 68 down only, which is not that bad for the Grillers, as they can now make the counter push, and if they get two super clams in, so if they get the pity clam in and form another one, they will get the lead, they will get the provisional lead here. But as things stand, Sanctum is leading, and they are aggressive again as 2 members go down. Now 3 members go down from the Gorilla side, as yeah, Sanctum is pushing again.
Yeah, Sanctum pushing again, gonna score already, and having a bamboo just coming straight at you, that's a scary sight, because that immediately was allowed them to push up and get that pick, having that bamboo leading that charge. So 3 members down on Sanctum, and Grillers doing a really good job at getting this defensive holds and stopping these pushes that Sanctum is putting on, but they do have to figure out, how do we get a push going? It looks like they are going to have Taco here use these missiles, and they are going to armor up, so they're going to try and push in through these specials, but unfortunately do get called out. Medi right there with Super wrapping around, getting that nice pinch going, and just able to easily call that out, and now they're immediately able to make a power clam. Super here scoring that power clam and going to start another push.
Unfortunately, Sanctum also had the Ink Armor out, and that made the wipe for Sanctum going. However, they didn't score that much, so they extended the lead actually to 49, which is now which is a better lead than 63 or something. However, it's still possible. As we might remember, it's still Clamblitz. Taku trying to get against 2 people. Unfortunately, Heaven with the kill there. Heaven with the second one. Okay, with the second assist. And now Sanctum are pushing with 3 Squids over here. With 4 Squids, actually. They are really team playing it right here. And the Grillers really have a big issue defending that powerhouse of Sanctum right here. Now the suction bump rush is going out as well. Heaven trying to find the Dynamo, but I believe the Dynamo is open. Oh, the Dynamo is now there. However, it's 33 down for Sanctum. That really looks nasty for the Grillers.
Yeah, Sanctum is doing a really good job at continuing this pressure. They're going to get a few more clams in. It looks like Super is still there under the basket, gets a pick, and is finally called out though. And in doing that, Super was able to just kind of keep up pressure, and their teammates got a few power clams in around that. So now we're going into about the last minute and 20 seconds of this match here. The Grillers, once again, in this position where they're trying to get this mid control. I didn't see what happened, but they did get 3 members down on Sanctum. Grillers going to start pushing up here. They armored up. They do need power clams. They only have 10 right now, and it's not under the basket. As they're starting to push up here, their Dynamo player does go down. Unfortunately, Ninja going to go down also, and the push happens though, and they are able to get a power climb in, and unfortunately it's just Ariel. Ariel tries to jump in with that power climb, but unfortunately it's just too far away from the basket. Is going to get called out, but that was a really, really good push attempt there from the Grillers.
The escalator just demoted Ariel to the useless path here, as Sanctum now getting the next push, 18 down. However, that was a really, really promising push there from the Grillers to add in. 18, I believe that Sanctum really has the tools. They have so much map control. They have the half control of the opponent's base, but they really struggling to KO that, and that could cost them dearly, and yeah, it unfortunately did for the Grillers. Sanctum winning this best of 3 with 2-0. Congratulations from our side.
Yeah, Sanctum did a really, really good job that game too. So and look at those kill counts. Oh my goodness, 2 16s from Heaven and Super. Just putting in work, and that's exactly what we were talking about in the beginning of this set. The aggression that they have is just really, really showing through. I mean, they're just recognizing situations together really well and just playing off of each other really well. So definitely a good job to Sanctum, and then also a GG's to the Griller.
We have seen that Sanctum was really, really aggressive. They kept the pressure high, kept the tension low. They really went on the flow, and they played as a team. There were a paddle of 4 Squids and Octos pushing forward against the Grillers, who were unfortunately overwhelmed with the offense of Sanctum. But to be fair, it was a powerhouse. They had an Anzap that could deliver armor for the K-Gal, which may not need that because wall. But they additionally have a Neo Splash as well with MPU pumped up with 33.3. They could also make a big impact on the defense, and Sanctum really executed that really darn well. And yeah, GG's to them, but also kudos to the Grillers. They really held it off really well, given that Sanctum has really a huge evolution on improving. So kudos to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a really good job, and I think they were that second game they were really starting to like regroup with each other. So I think I am not sure completely, but I think we are going to be ready to go into the next match. And with the list going on here, I lost the list. I'm gonna have to wait to see who comes up on the stream.
Maybe I'm quicker. Okay, that's interesting. So, to clarify, I'm European, and I do not know any of the teams, which isn't a bad thing, which is actually a good thing because I do not know what's happening, so I can get really, really hyped for that game as well.
Oh, this next game?
Yes. Geek Squid against not TCC.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I know Geek Squid for quite a bit. They're playing extremely often and annoying. Unfortunately, I cannot appear in it anymore since I am banned. As a champion, of course. And yeah, no, I'm not the bad squid. I'm not the bad squid. Don't worry. But I haven't seen them play except of solo queue, but you cannot compare to that. You cannot compare solo queue with a tournament. Never. And yeah, I'm hyped for this game. I really don't know what's gonna hit me.
I actually am looking at both of these teams, and I really don't know much about anything about these teams. So any of the knowledge coming out from the stream will be from you, Kyo. Not TCC and Geek versus Geek Squid. You know, the only person on this screen that looks personally familiar to me would be Bowen. But like you said, I've just seen, you know, Bowen from playing League or solo queue, so none of the names necessarily look too familiar to me. Do you have any knowledge about what any of these people play?
Like I don't have a single clue. I'm so yeah, we have a new set of maps as well, which include but are not limited to Tower Control on Starfish main stage, Waymaker on Black Belly Skate Park. Okay, cool, interesting. Oh no, Clem's on the roof. Oh no, I have some flashbacks right now. But for starters, before we go to plan this week. Tower Control Starfish main stage. The tutorial map for flanking, nonetheless. However, it's Tower Control, so do we see many flanks or just a few? What do you think?
I think even for tower control, especially like at the very start of the game, there's always, I feel like I always see flanks happening. So that's personally what I'm expecting to happen. You know, either from the left or the right side of the street. I always expect, even for tower control, to see flanks. But, you know, given that we don't know too much about these teams, you know, what weapons they play, what playstyle they have, we'll have to see if they actually do end up doing that.
Oh, yeah. Basically for me, I flank actually averagely a lot in even in Tower Control Starfish main stage, because this is basically a game changer, and Starfish main stage, like I said earlier, it's really a tutorial map for flanking. You can flank from the left, you can flank from the right, and if the elite is at the left side, you just flank from the right side, because even though you are 4 Squids and Octos on the field, you cannot cover up everything, because if one goes down at one side, it can be a calamity going on if you don't pick that up real quick, the flank, and this can extend to a huge impact. So yeah, map control is really important. Looking for discrepancies on the map controls as well is pretty much important, because every single petal of ink, no matter how big it is, it can be a huge finger pointing on a problem, and that is really important for every team to know that they have to paint everything on Starfish main stage to avoid being flanked so often.
Yeah, the flanks not only can happen, you know, right away, someone immediately rushes the flank, but also, like you were saying, someone can like start flanking and then just hide in a little puddle of ink and then just sit there and wait for like the perfect moment when no one's like actually looking at that anymore. I feel like that's happened to me so many times, and it's like one of those things where you have to be like, okay, we need to make sure we know this guy's gonna keep doing this. We need to make sure we paint everything and keep checking those flanks, and that can be really detrimental, especially if they're just sitting there waiting for you to not be looking.
Yeah, weapons wise, I mean, I'm just a T-Tech one shot. I do not know. Maybe we're going to see a revival of the T-Tech over there in Starfish main stage, but maybe we can also see some sort of a Nautilus or something like that. Backline, I really do not know. Maybe some Splatoscopes or noble charges with Stingray would be pretty important, because tower control. Booyah bombs also work. So we could also see a Kegel, maybe.
Yeah, there's all types of weapons that could be. I mean, you know, people who play T-Tech, you know, the meta has kind of switched over to Splash, so I'm maybe, you know, guessing we'll see a Splash. But I mean, going into this, it's kind of interesting going into this not knowing really anything about these players, so just kind of having to take a guess of what they might play.
This is going to be a huge surprise if the biggest impact of the set is going to occur, because yeah, we both don't know much of the teams. I do not know anything of the teams, so we're almost at the same height here. And really, I'm so hyped. I'm really so hyped about the two teams clashing together while you not know what's going to happen.
Me neither. And the other thing about this map is the checkpoint. So once one team gets past that second checkpoint, it can get really scary and really deadly. So if one team or the other is able to get past that second checkpoint, we're gonna have to watch for those snowball effects that can happen.
Well, better some exceptions to it though. If you lose too much control, it doesn't have to be much control you're losing about the map and about the whole game. But if you lose just a bit of control about the game control and stuff, even the second checkpoint cannot save you. So I believe it can go down to the third checkpoint and maybe even beyond. Because Starfish main stage is flanky, Starfish main stage is pro-aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, seeing from Geek Squid, I believe what I really know about what I really know in the dark memories I have in solo queues, Twinkies plays splatter shots. Maybe, I am not quite sure. It can be really hard for not TCC to play against, but if they have a lot of space, a lot of map control, and a lot of weapons that have more range, or maybe more power, maybe also filled with NPU, it can be a huge impact, also for Geek Squid. So it will be awesome, definitely.
It will be awesome. And it looks like we are just waiting for one of the opponents that I think one more opponent to get in the lobby, it looks like. So we are almost ready to start this second set on the stream too.
Let's talk about Waymaker and Blackberry Skate Park. What is, in your opinion, what is the best path going on? Over the pipe or over the right hand side? Or maybe even through the middle?
That's a good question. So looking ahead at Rainmaker Blackbelly, I think it's always best to try and go like straight or like far right if you're pushing the Rainmaker. But one thing that I started to learn about as I started playing the game at a higher level is, like, say you get a complete wipe on the other team, it's really good to push the Rainmaker left because they're all coming from spawn. They have a long way to go, and by the time you guys start pushing the Rainmaker left and they're respawning, you're gonna have more specials ready. So you can either just push it and get some crazy points on the left while they're all down, or keep pushing it left but have specials to try and sustain that push, and that's going to catch them off guard. So that rarely happens, but I have seen it happen enough that it's something that's notable, I think. But generally it's probably good just to go in that right maze area and straight.
I have to think back to that time before I was playing competitive. I was in a team which was more casual, it was a clan. And we were practicing maps, and it was actually the first time I was playing Waymaker on Black Valley Skate Park. And 2 years prior now, the map, or actually Waymaker Black Valley Skate Park, was so broken. One wipe and it's over, definitely. But
yeah.
Anyway, we are going into tower control on Starfish main stage, and we have a lot of interesting choices.
Ooh.
Oh my god, one of my old mains as well, the Twice Lusher Novo, is going into the game as well. And as I was calling it, Swinford with the T-Tech, so maybe we'll get a bit of more aggression here. But that is really interesting, seeing an Elita, or actually it's understandable because Elita covers up so much room, and it can be really important to be in there. Oh, Swinford with an early inkjet here, trying to get the NZAP, and gets the NZAP as well. Now trying to get some paint now, and the tower only going to 99. Now they're getting pushed. Swinford goes down, and there goes the Booyah Bomb, and the tower has to be abandoned. Wow, what a start!
Yeah, that was quite a scrappy start there. Both teams kind of just duking it out. We saw picks happen on each side. And, you know, Geek Squid did get a lot of map control, especially immediately, especially with that inkjet that we saw. Ooh, Noodle's going to go down by that splat bomb. And another pick coming out here from this Teak Tech. So this Geek Squid, you know, they had a moment where they had to back up regroup, but they're immediately pushing up here, and they're doing a really good job at kind of trying to juggle mid.
Snowfall with the with the beautiful bomb there. Another splat here. That was really great. Snowfall is on it. And that is another inkjet going into the right-hand side, firing down on the left-hand side. And the first checkpoint is correct. The first checkpoint is down as more members of both teams going down. More squids down on the Greek squids than on not TCC. And that is the end of the push right now. Geek Squid down to 54. And it may be a new push, but this time from not TCC. So let's see how they are going to handle against the Elite.
Yeah, looks like a lot of momentum happening as Noodles getting that third pick. That's 3 down right now on Geek Squid, and the paint control that not TCC has right now is really good. Ooh, gotta watch that E leader there, watching that right side. That was sneaky, but they were able to avoid it. And now at the checkpoint, there are, 3 people at the tower. So looks like they're trying their best to just push the tower through that first checkpoint. Now with 2 members on the tower right now, trying to get to the second checkpoint. It's just the E leader up, and they are going to be able to clear that second checkpoint along with getting the lead. So this is that snowball effect that I was talking about that we're seeing happen a little bit. Looks like the defense, though, from Geek Squid is paying off for them. They're regrouping, and they have gotten 1 member down from not TCC, and they're immediately pushing into mid to start acting aggressive.
I think 1 millisecond longer and the Elite would have gotten the kill on the tower. That was so close. I was literally, whoa, what is happening? But yeah, now not TCC with the lead, and even with the second checkpoint in the pocket as well. No, the wall. Oh no. Oh, I really can relate to this. I always can relate to that. The wall killing yourself there. This is always so unfortunate.
That's painful.
The Geek Squid now cannot push a bit further because they don't have any control. They don't have the player control here that covers up much room here. Now they're trying to get the Booyah Bomb, gets crushed and shambled by Flimsor, splatting down Aimer with the K-Gal, and that's the last minute ticking down. Geek Squid onto the next push right now. 4 players on both teams remaining. Swinford with a huge problem here against 2 players. And 3 maybe going onto the right-hand side, trying to defend the second checkpoint. The only checkpoint they have right now, an advantage. Wow, that is a huge impact. Now the Booyah Bomb going into there as well. So not TCC, definitely not having a break here.
Yeah, not TCC is doing a really good job at just kind of holding back, you can tell they're like letting Geek Squid come into them. The map control that they have is really insane, and we're going into the last 15 seconds, 10 seconds of this match, and just the map is completely blue right now, and that's making it that much harder. Ooh, EP gets noticing that flank and calling it out right away, just solidifying this with the Booyah Bomb. And so not TCC is going to be taking game 1.
That was an opening from Geek Squid, especially from Swinford, going instantly directive and aggressive on the power, getting some good splats here with the Inkjet as well. Unfortunately, it didn't suffice, as not TCC having the second checkpoint advantage here, as you already noticed before the game. And yeah, not TCC. Yes, I also have issues with that name. I always think like it's not TC, but spelling out the second C it's mind-boggling. I know. Yeah, it's Rainmaker on Black Betty Skate Park now. Yeah, but as I was talking about 2 years before today, I was playing the first map and it was terrible. I think it was so terrible that it got banned, right? I don't know, because I wasn't playing competitive at that time.
Wait, what happened?
I believe that Waymaker Black Betty Skate Park was so unbalanced. If you get wiped, you would basically get KO'd because I believe the goal was way too close from the starting point. So you can just wipe the team, grab the Waymaker, and KO that Waymaker while the others are just respawning. So yeah, they fixed it. Thank you, Nintendo. And now it's much harder to KO it in Waymaker because as a Waymaker, you have a huge area of exposure because there is except for the little house there, which you can see at the top left side. There's nothing you can hide from. There's nothing you can hide there. So you as a Waymaker, you are totally exposed if you attempt to swim over that. So you need full clearance to KO that, and that is a big improvement there for the map. As we now jump in to the practical stage here, Bowen and especially Geek Squid with the first pop here of the Waymaker, getting a little bit of control here, but Snowfall with an unfortunate opening, getting down the K Pro going down as well. The Waymaker has been taken by not TCC, and they are going to the right hand side with Bubbles, and they now have to get against the Stingray, which gets a huge pick here. Maybe the Slush as well, and that's the rape. And that could be a huge break here for Geek Squid as they manage to get the wipe. And now they're pushing over the left-hand side, over the pipe side. And look at the points dropping down.
Yes, this is the moment I was talking about right before this. I love seeing this. They pushed it. They had specials ready. I love that they recognized that because that's exactly what I was talking about. That was so cool to see. They had specials ready. They pushed it. They got points right away. You know, they didn't necessarily get a huge lead, but they did get the lead. And those points were really good for them here in the first, 4 minutes of this match. Ooh, Noodle's getting a nice bomb pick there. And right now they are going to go ahead and let the Rainmaker reset. Both teams trying to regroup here, and if you look over on Geek Squid's side, you do see that they have 2 specials ready. They have a Stingray and an Inkjet ready. But then on the other side, not TCC does have 3 specials ready of their own. So it's really going to be who can get these first picks here, as there's a stalemate happening back and forth in mid.
Yeah, they're just trying to play it safe right now. TCC trying not to get wiped, and Geek Squid trying to look for opportunities to strike in. However, now the first squids going down here on both sides. The Slusher go down as well as Bowen trying to make their way up to mid. Can they get the squid with the wet ends up? Yes, they do, but this is a trade only. And this could be another push opportunity here for Geek Squids. However, they're taking its time, which is really important because you don't want to push and at the end you're gonna get wiped. So I can fully understand, but what? What?
Scary.
What? Okay, I would have died 2,000 times there with that bomb, but good on Aimer surviving that bomb. Respect. Wow.
So we both were like, oh, because I felt like I would have died there too. So the match starting out here, EP gonna try and start bubbles going off on this right side, and the Tri Nouveau is gonna go down on the side of not GCC. So they're trying everything they can to get a push going, but they are just kind of having a bit of a stalemate just continuing to happen in mid. Looks like they are going to get some armor out here. We're seeing Film Store noticing that there's someone up on this left snipe area. You know they're trying to get them out of there. Finally, there's 2 down on Geek Squid right now. 3 down. This could be exactly what not TCC needs right now. Noodles is pushing the Rainmaker, does push it enough to get the lead, and Diz does go down, but that was a really, really good moment of waiting to push the Rainmaker and get the lead.
Oh, unfortunately, Snowfall was on the other side and couldn't just make it up. The lead is lost. Oh my goodness me, that was unfortunate. But Yeah, nothing about Swinford. I believe they were preparing for another flank, I believe, and that was so unfortunate that Swinford wasn't all of a sudden last and was admit and had to do all the pace on reverse. But now Geek Squid now trying to get the push as the 2v4 situation now coming up. 49 seconds to go. Emma with the Oh, the lead has been taken again. This is a back and forth between two teams. That is incredible what's going on here. As not TCC now trying to get the push back. Now they were gonna let the way we said, I believe. Oh my god. What a game it is. And we're not done yet.
Yeah, we still have 20 seconds left to this. Noodle's gonna grab the Rainmaker and just try and figure out how to push up. There's someone coming directly at them. It looks like it was Bowen. Bowen is gonna get called out by the Rainmaker now. Another member down of Geek Squid right now as Noodles is just trying everything they can to hold the Rainmaker, but the Stingray coming out in the last 5 seconds of this could be really deadly. Noodles goes down. I don't know if they'll be able to pop the Rainmaker in time to grab it. They are not. That was so close. And game 2 is going to go over to Geek Squid.
We have game 3. Oh my god, we have game 3. And to be fairly honest, I am so glad we're getting a game 3. Oh my god. That was a game for the record. That was really a mind-boggling game from both teams. It was really a back and forth, as I thought that not TCC getting the lead, now they're gonna defend this and stuff, but the offense from Geek Squid, wow! That, I'm at loss for words. I'm at loss for words, really.
That was really good. The way that Geek Squid that was like, I could just like imagine being on that team in that moment. The way that Geek Squid, they were just like, go, 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 because you could see they were just dodging through all the ink pockets that were there just to get the lead, and it paid off really well for them. And that was really good timing too, because then not TCC didn't really have any time to regroup or try and get a plan going as it went into overtime.
Yes, and now we have game 3. It's always so beautiful when Silver Squares is going to be Gamblet on the Wii. And I was mentioning earlier that I have quite the flashbacks on Gamblet. I was playing Low Ink on June last year, and we were on a push. That was overtime. We were trailing, and I believe we needed one Super Clam to get the overtime lead and win. Guess who was the goalkeeper for the one team with an inkjet?
Who was it?
It was me. I literally flew right in front of the basket. One of the, I believe it was Madeline, threw the Super Clam in, and I was the goalkeeper and saved it. And you cannot score with an inkjet. That was so unfortunate.
Oh, that sounds so tragic. So you're having flashbacks of that moment.
Yeah, I really have flashbacks. But to be fairly honest, Planets on the Wii can be really, really interesting, because that's a really, really aggressive map. You have so much space. You have so many opportunities to flank. And as we see, it's Twinford moving over to the end splash this time. Maybe to not recreate what I did in June last year. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff as the NZAP 89 goes down first.
Yeah, the first one gonna go down, and that means that, the other team, looks like the other team does have their K-52 go down, and Furion here on the bamboo going down as well. That's 3 down right away on the side of Geek Squid. So we can see not TCC here trying to recognize that situation, use these bubbles here. I love these bubbles coming out from EP, and we do see the rain coming out also. So EP gonna try and sneak in through these bubbles, does score that power clam. I don't know if they're gonna be able to have any teammates follow up though with any other clams.
That was a great starter here from not TCC's, going down to 62. EP having the opportunity to score actually a bit more, since Geek Squid is a bit farther away from the basket. However, they only got it down to 62, which might be good for Geek Squids. But that was a bloody good start with only the ends up 89 down on their team, but getting 3 picks. 3 picks on the other side is very strong, and that can be really game decisive. But like I said earlier, it's Clamlets. Everything can happen, and we just still have 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, so everything can happen. Bowen with the Super Clam trying to pay for way through. However, not TCC passively managing to defend this. To defend the push, as Bowen is not. Yeah, it doesn't go in much to be a bit. Yeah, to be a bit more safety and stuff. But now we have Swinford going forward, and this could be an. Oh no, it's not! Noodles going in! Noodles are on fire right now, they're on it! Noodles with the big defending here, with the flank. And that is the push over before it even begun.
Yeah, there was a lot of setup there that could have played out really well, but Noodles definitely coming in clutch and recognizing that they could get those picks. So just once again, this is very similar to that last game we saw stalemate happening in mid. Looks like Noodles was able to sneak in and score that power clam. And TCC here trying to sneak in and score clams. It doesn't score them in, unfortunately, but is called out. So the basket does break once again for not TCC. They don't get too many points in, but in doing so, them doing that is going to make it, stall it out that much longer for Geek Squid. So now, once again, Geek Squid here trying to be the team that is going to take bridge and regroup and get specials ready to get a push going. Oh, that was
another one.
Another bomb that looked like I know that would have killed me. I'm gonna be honest. I just feel like my reflexes would not have been fast enough to avoid that. So here we go. There's 2 down finally for not TCC, and Geek Squid is going to score the power clam in. We see Amer coming in with another power clam, does score it in, and just like that, they are going to get the lead.
And they have, I believe that Aimer is just the bomb dodging expert here in this match. 2 bombs, not dying, even though they are basically hugging the bomb. Wow, just incredible. However, now lead has been taken by Geek Squid as we move on to the last 60 seconds anytime soon. And it's not a big lead, especially with not TC below 20 cooldown points. That can be a game changer here.
Yeah, we are going into the last 50 seconds of this match right now. If you look at the clam count too, Geek Squid does have 13. It's going to keep going up here as I say this, I'm sure. It looks like as their junior player went down, that was their main clam holder. So they went down, and now the clams are just kind of even right now. If not TCC wants to win this, they're going to need a power clam, and they do have a power clam, though there is a trade that happened there. So a lot of defense happening here from Geek Squid as they're trying to call out this power clam.
Oh, that's huge! Swinford with a big engage here, getting it done, especially against an Ink armor as well. And now the last 10 seconds, I believe, yep, not TCC will get the overtime as they are in possession of the Super Clam, but they're jumping in! They backdoored! They backdoored their way in! Will they get the lead soon? The junior is last, and just
oh my god!
Oh my god! But they don't have any clams! Oh my god! It's over!
I didn't even notice they were back there behind the basket, and poor TCC didn't have any clams to score any in and just solidify that. Oh, that was so close, and looks like Game 3 will be going to Geek Squid, though that was really, really, really close.
What was that? We have seen a lot of stuff. Aimer just dodging 2 death-deciding bombs, and now Geek Squid getting the clutch, almost the clutch win at Waymaker in Clamblitz. And what was that set? That was, in my opinion, one of the most hyper sets here in SuperJump, and we have many.
Yeah, we do have many more to watch too, so I'm sure that will not be the last one. That went to game 3, and we saw how close it was. I mean, seeing Rainmaker on Black Belly, and then this last one, Clam Blitz on the Reef, both teams felt really evenly matched, and it was just kind of who could take advantage of situations faster.
And especially it was a back and forth in all 3 games. Geek Squids had the better opening in Tower Control Starfish main stage, but not TCC had the second checkpoint. Black Belly Skate Park, Geek Squid with the 3rd lead overtake, and with a great Stingray coming up as well, and then Clamblitz, which not TCC almost clutching it out with the X-Packer backdoor action in the weave, which is really notorious for it. It really was a big back and forth, and that is really respect to both teams. GG's to both teams as well. They are really awesome. I'm at loss for this. I'm at loss for words for this set. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it was a really, really good set to watch, and yeah, it didn't really feel one-sided. It was really just like who was able to recognize situations faster, and I mean, we saw both teams doing that too. Both teams were coordinating specials really well and recognizing when they had the man advantage. So there really wasn't one team or the other that felt like, they stood out. Felt like pretty even, and it really came down to that last game, that last overtime, and it was a really good set to watch.
Oh, by the way, we have the next game, but we had 12% for not TCC and 88% for Geek Squid in the prediction, by the way. So that was a close call for the for the guys at 88%.
Yeah, it was.
But now we have game number 3 coming up, which is Snowfall and Ink in the system, and it's the same thing like in the last set. I do not know anything about both teams.
Yeah, looking at this, I am not necessarily familiar with either team either. So Snowfall has Freeze, Kai, Puzzle, and Ian, and then Ink in the system has quite a big roster here. Velvet, ESM, Liz, Lightness, Div, and it's iCar. So I'm going to see if I can find either of these teams on our cool list that we were provided. I'm so bad at reading things really fast, though, so let me see if I can find them on the list. But neither team necessarily looks familiar to me either.
Maybe I can take a look at this as well. So, Ink in the system, getting top cut in LSL 15.
Oh.
Whatever that is, I am an European. I do not know what LSL is. I'm so sorry, but that is probably good, actually. And they're coming from the USA and from Colombia. And Snowfall has no weapons. Sad life. Well,
okay.
Maps. We have some interesting ones, and we are going to revisit Waymaker Snapper Canal only for game 3 though. But prior to that, we have Splat Zones on Skipper Pavilion and Tower Control on Anchovy Games. Splat Zones, Skipper Pavilion. What a T-Tech map, because you can basically flank them whenever the mid-section is completely free. And we are already jumping in. Wow, that was quick. Splat Zones on Skipper Pavilion. We have some interesting picks, and I do not see a T-Tech. However, we see a K-Shot, which might be okay because of Tandem missiles. but I believe I'm better off with T-Tech, in my opinion, because you can go a bit more aggressive, and in Skipper Pavilion, that might be key.
Yeah, and starting out here too, looks like the zone is immediately going to go over to Snowfall, but no members are down. Oh, as I say that, unfortunately, Velvet on the squeezer does go down, but the zone is also going to swap over. Though the zone does swap over, that leads to 3 members of Ink in the System going down, and that's a complete wipe. The zone is going to be in Snowfall's favor, and you can see Snowfall here trying to paint up everything they can as they have the advantage. They're trying to get specials ready for their defense. They do have a Booyah Bomb and Ink Armor at the ready, and then on the other side, we see Velvet ready with those bubbles. Velvet did use those bubbles down at the bottom. I don't know if they were able to, use those to be able to push in, but we see a lot of scrappy fights happening here as this Booyah Bomb comes out from Divya and does get the pick, and that is 3 down now on the side of Snowfall. Divya going to use this bomb rush to help cap the zone really fast, and looks like it's just this Dynamo player up, and they don't go down yet. It looks like they might have either jumped out or they just ignored them.
I believe, it almost looked like the Dynamo is still there, but that's not the case. The opening clearly going to Snowfall, which might be important, especially in Splat Zones, and more especially in Skipper Pavilion. However, Ink in the System with a great comeback here, as they now keep the zone and the jump kill, with this jump camp here against Puzzle Velvet with the bubbles here. So now they have the zone, they have a bit of map control here as well, as they try to keep the 2 entry points at bay, which is mid and the left-hand side. But now they're going to lose a bit more of control here, since now Maurice has somehow got through there, now trying to pave their way out of that situation, and zone still overthrown. Oh, and Maurice with a good kill here with maybe the Booyah Bomb shred. Yes, it does. But wait, what? Okay, that was. Oh no, the sea!
Oh no! Unfortunate.
Okay, this is bad. This is really bad for them. Yeah, that is a DC. And now bubbles and everything comes in, and now the game of Snowfall is jeopardized, falling apart. Due to the, especially with no ink armor and with no paint weapon, with a paint weapon less and with an ink armor less, the only ink armor they have, it's really jeopardized the game from Snowfall.
Yeah, the penalty points are completely gone right now from Ink in the System, and they are just going to go ahead and get the lead. They did have 1 member down there, though, but, I mean, there looks like the way that Ink in the System is guarding the zone is really good. We're seeing missiles and this Booyah Bomb come out from Snowfall, but with the rain also, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep the zone. There's actually, Snowfall is able to, with that rain paired up with this Dynamo, able to cap the zone, and that was a really good job on them. That gives Ink in the System a 50-point penalty.
That was an important thing here, stalling the zone, maybe getting some more time on the clock for Snowfall to somehow, improvise now, maybe even getting the overtime lead. Who knows? But yeah, they have the zone back. They're really fighting about it. They're really fighting with their lives here. However, the Dynamo goes down, as it's a 2v2 situation with both specials going off from Snowfall, and now the Booyah Bomb crashing in the zone as well. And whoa, that's the CDS really going aggressive. Still alive, now is dead. And that's what a kill here from the Dynamo here. That was important from Kai here. Are they gonna stick the lead?
I don't know. For being a 4, they're doing a really, really good job. Unfortunately, Kai does go down to that bomb. That means there's essentially 2 down in the last second of that match, and just like that, Ink in the System is able to get that really good pick on the Dynamo and then just follow through that and get the zone. So really unfortunate that Snowfall had that DC, right in the middle of the match. I don't think it would have. I don't think it. I don't think they would have been able to replay that considering DC rules, I'm guessing. So, Ink in the System able to take game 1, but I mean, Snowfall did, for that being a 3v4 for half of that match, Snowfall did a really good job at still coming in to cap the zone.
They kept the zone twice.
Yeah.
Actually, in a map like Skipper Pavilion, if you have a DC, it's really okay. If you generally have a DC, it's pretty bad. But if you have a DC, it's really bad, especially in Splatoon Skipper Pavilion, because it was the Anzap who disconnected. You have the only Ink armor gone forever for the rest of the game, and you have a paint weaponless. So less map control, less opportunities to attack because you get pressurized a lot and constantly. That's really unfortunate for Snowfall to drop a game like this, but it's still a best of 3. Everything can happen, and they still need to bath it out in Tower Control, Anchovy Games, and in Waymaker Snapper Canal though. And from what I have seen in Waymaker, you can really dominate this map, as Sanctum described it, actually showed us. But it can also be very even between both teams, because prior to the DC, it was really a back and forth. However, Snowfall with a better opening, but Ink in the System with a good comeback as well.
Yeah, I agree. Ink in the System had a really good, they were doing really good pushbacks in, and even though they didn't necessarily start it out really well, I felt like it still felt like it was even. And going into this too, tower control on Anchovy, it can be really, back and forth depending on who can get past that second checkpoint. It's kind of similar to his tower control Starfish like we saw in the one of the previous sets. It's always it comes down to that second checkpoint, who can be the one that is able to actually get past that and get the momentum going to get past that second checkpoint.
Yeah, the second checkpoint is on the arcade, right? So it can be really easily defended from the snipe. But if it's down, you have a big problem, because then the other team will try to hold on to that checkpoint. But if you manage to control the snipe section with an inkjet, or maybe with some load of Booyah Bomb, or maybe a special that can keep the control for the snipe section for maybe even just a short period of time, it can be crucial. It can be really crucial. But you really have to hold it, especially with an inkjet, because being sniped off with an inkjet is not that great. So the pressure is actually on the inkjet to hold that position and getting the shots done.
Yeah, that's a really good point to make. Once you get to that second checkpoint, you're definitely going to want an inkjet player to add pressure onto that overlook area. That could be... I'm having flashbacks of playing this map in mode and then trying to swim back in and get ready to defend that second checkpoint, and then just immediately an inkjet popping up and just killing me and all my teammates. So it's man, that can be so deadly on this map and mode.
That actually reminds me, in Tower Control Anchovy Games, although I've mentioned the inkjet with T-Tech maybe, actually attacking is pretty much not easy, but it's doable, definitely. But defending, yikes. As a T-Tech, I don't want to be in that position where I actually have to defend against, I don't know, 2 or 3 Squids and Octos, because if that is the case, I cannot just go to the snipe and try to do something with my T-Tech with that short range I have. I really have to flank, but the problem is arcade is completely covered. So I would need to go through window, through the middle, over to the path of the tower, and maybe try to flank them. But in the meantime, they are already at the 3rd checkpoint. So the biggest part of tower control, in my opinion, is constantly you have to get the defense at 100% constantly, because if it lacks some of the attention, the whole game system of yours can break down significantly.
Yeah, you have to be really cautious on defense. When like the other team does push the tower past that first checkpoint, at least it can get really scary. You know, you got to make sure that your team isn't feeding in. Your team is trying to just wait and get specials, because if you just keep feeding into that can be so easy for the other team to just pick you off. So definitely have to play that really carefully. You know, the aggros have to try and wait for the perfect moment to get the picks, or just try and wait for armor, or wait for a special that helps them push in. So that can be really, really tricky on tower control Anchovy in particular.
As it is always the case, consistency is key in on all maps and modes. But on tower control Anchovy, it counts double. The morale, defending and offending pretty much even, and consistently keeping the pressure up, not letting the other team push at all, maybe. If that can be actually the key of winning this map and mode. But if you have to be defending, you really need to, as you've said, you really need to wait for specials that can help you defend. Because with your sub and with your main alone, you cannot defend your own base or the game if you are basically playing against a whole squad with main, sub, and specials. So really, patience is absolutely everything on this map, and generally.
Yeah, definitely really good to play patiently in general, you know, wait for specials, but this map in particular, for some reason, it just feels like extra painful when you don't wait, or your teammates don't wait and just kind of go in, because the way the tower path is directly right in front of where your spawn would be. So the team that is pushing the tower can easily just see you coming out of your spawn, be able to pick you off really easily. So just have to play really, really patiently, in particular for tower control Anchovy, and make sure you're patient and don't feed in, because it's pretty obvious where you are and the other team can just pick you off pretty fast.
I believe tower control Anchovy can be, especially on this set, can be pretty much even and a back and forth, because Sanctum had the better opening in Splatoon Skipper Pavilion, which can be a big impact generally on tower control Anchovy. However, we have also seen Ink in the system with a great comeback twice, maybe even 3 times on Skipper Pavilion. I don't really recall that anymore. It can be a back and forth, so maybe we are going to see a battle to the 3rd checkpoint and beyond, as we see a range blaster, the Grim Reaper. Oh my god, that I see this weapon again. It really warms my heart.
Yeah, that Grim is a rare sight, so I'm happy that we get to see that on tower control too, of course. Great mode to play that weapon on. So starting out the map here too. Actually, on the other side too, important to note that Snowfall has Kai on the splatter scope. So that's a notable change too that we are noticing. So one member going down right now on both sides, so it's a 3v3 right now, but the mid control is really on Snowfall's side right now. As we're seeing Puzzle here trying to take on this flanker. Puzzle gonna go down by the flank, and now that's 3 down. What a great way to start out that push, and just taking the tower immediately. Ink in the system here going to start pushing.
Oh, how the turntables. Ink of the system now with the better opening. And the kitty bomb from the NZEP 89, finishing off the NZEP on the other side. But the jump, the push might be over. The Slusher's trying to get the Dwayne though. That was really important here for Ink in the system to get that trade going. And that is the pushover. 66 down for Ink in the system. Now Maurice with the NZEP really a bit too aggressive on the power. Trying to get the push going even into the office here. And now, oh, that is weird. That was weird. Oh, please not this Nintendo Arena, thank you.
So we saw the Stingray come out from Ink in the system, trying to stop the tower, but we saw Kyle here just doing a really good job at just avoiding that, waiting for that to end, and we could see an Inkjet come out from the splash on the side of Snowfall. Snowfall is just doing a really good job at juggling the tower, making sure they don't die. Kai using this Stingray to help get the office area. What did you see, Kyo?
I saw a splat bomb and the NZEP was so unlucky and swum against the post of the tower and getting blocked there from the bomb. Unfortunate. But the second checkpoint, and the second checkpoint actually is through. That means Snowfall had the better mid game now. Ink in the system with the better opening, Snowfall with the better mid game. Who is going to take the end game?
Good question. We still have 2 minutes of this too, so anything can happen as each team did have a member go down. Now there's another member down. Freeze gonna go down on the side of Snowfall. So finally, Ink in the system getting those picks that they really need to be able to start pushing up. And now they are the ones with that mid control, and Divya here does have the Stingray ready, so that's going to be really important for starting their push. I like though that they did use this armor as those missiles came out from Snowfall, and Velvet here going to be out in that slosher trying to start pushing the tower, but with their teammate going down ahead of them, it might be a little bit scary. Velvet using that burst rush to try and get a pick with that, but it's going to get called out.
Killball with an important kill here against the Slusher, pushing the tower here. Now Ink in the system pushes already over 2v2 situation. Now whoa, that was a good opening here from the Stingray, getting a few hits here. However, no splat, unfortunately. That looked really promising though, as the game is going back and forth. And Killwall with the big flank here. Now with the second, the direct from the blaster. Denied the seemingly safe kill here for Killwall. As now both teams are getting down here, one and another. That's back and forth. I cannot even tell what's going on right now.
I know, it's so back and forth. One person's getting that kill, and then it just keeps it's like circle happening back and forth. So I do know and see though in the last 30 seconds here, Freeze is riding the tower for Snowfall, and there's 2 members down of Ink in the system. So this is going to be a really, really scary spot for Ink in the system to be right now, as Freeze and Killwall are taking over Ink in the system's office. We're seeing Freeze go back for the tower, trying to juggle it, but does have to be really careful of that Stingray. Did a really good job at avoiding it, and it looks like it's actually just Freeze here at the tower. Their teammates are kind of we're seeing Killvia over there in the office area, and I see why their teammate jumped back to use that Stingray to just help solidify keeping the tower there. And Freeze did a really good job at just recognizing juggling the tower there. Didn't have to push it too far, and that really helped them just keep pressure up. And so game 2 is going to be going to Snowfall.
With Freeze just touching the tower, he kinda put on the finger at Ink in the system and saying, hey, you have to get on the tower now or we're going to win the game. But if you get on the tower, we are going to splat you and win the game. So it was basically a checkmate, a really systemized checkmate here from Snowfall, as they are making out for making it up for the DC in Splatoon Skipper Pavilion. Is now staying 1-all for both teams. And now we are going to pay a revisit in Waymaker Snapper Kano.
Yeah, we are going to be going back to Snapper Canal Rainmaker, which we saw in a previous set. So, having seen 2 Stingrays in that last match on Tower Control Anchovy, each team had a Stingray of their own. So, I'm guessing, you know, last time I said this, when we saw this map and mode on the stream, we didn't see a Stingray in sight. But considering what we just saw on Tower Control Anchovy, I'm guessing we are going to see Stingrays come out. That could be such a good tool for Rainmaker Snapper and stopping the Rainmaker really fast. So that's what I'm going to guess that we'll see going into this Game 3.
I believe it's the only alternative because in the previous set, I believe that was Geek Squids against not TCC. We had Black Valley Skate Park, which has a complete whole area of exposed area. So you cannot hide anywhere with the Waymaker. You're just getting a break or maybe shooting forward and then strike down safely. Waymaker on Snapper Canal has not much to not at all the area where you are completely open to everything. So I believe Stingray is the only alternative to stop the Waymaker, but we can also see some really near range engages against the Waymaker, especially if I see a Slushing, a K shot, and an Anzap again. And yeah, Ink in the system going a bit more on the range, but only one Stingray coming up because the V Squelcher has only, don't let me lie, it has Toxic Mist and
Missiles.
Okay, I wanted to say Tenta Missiles, but I wasn't. I hadn't the name in the brain yet. So yeah, both teams now equal with 1-all. The Waymaker up there. Now you have to create a bit of a situation so you can push safely, which could be now, but Ink in the system was 2 down. And it's a stalemate in the first minutes of the game because the Waymaker is up there, it's exposed. You have to grab it, and the surface on the Waymaker is slick, so you cannot paint it. So you have to wait until you can pick up that Waymaker safely. But Freeze with a good offensive puzzle now, trying to get another kill. Will they succeed? No, not yet. But Freeze already picked up that Waymaker. Now the Stingray trying to solidify the push here. Freeze going over to the mid side, going down to 27. That is a huge build. Velvet now with the Tanta missiles going out. And this might be the push over now. And that is interesting. The K shot picking up the Waymaker.
Yeah, we saw Velvet here picking up the Rainmaker. I'm guessing they did that just to make sure that no one could sneak up and grab the Rainmaker while it was over in that scary position. That could have been really deadly. So I think that was, maybe why Velvet did grab the Rainmaker. Velvet does go down too, carrying the Rainmaker, and one of their teammates going down along with them. But at least, they were able to get the Rainmaker out of that scary spot. So even though they got it out of that spot, right now, Snowfall has so much mid control and so much pressure right now that it's going to be really difficult for Ink in the system to break through that. Rainmaker is going to reset too, so that means we're going to be kind of back to where we were in the beginning of this match. Rainmaker just sitting there. Ooh, we're seeing this interesting 1v1 happen with Puzzle, and Puzzle is going to be the one taking that 1v1, and just so much, of Snowfall right now is just holding mid. They know that they have a huge lead right now, and they know that they don't necessarily need to overextend themselves, so they're just kind of letting the Rainmaker sit here and just kind of holding it.
Kinda unfortunate for the Kegel that the weapon still depends on RNG. which really wasn't on their side. Now Puzzle with the splashdown, which didn't get denied. However, the K-shot with a good kill here. And now that could be a situation now for Ink in the system as they try to pave a way through this. And Velvet going to the left-hand side. They're going to push it over the left side here right now. And Velvet's trying to get it here. And he ends up going down already. But it could be... Oh, could it be fake? No, the Stingray going out. Velvet has to dodge it out now against 3 Squids here from Snowfall. That is almost near impossible to pull out for. And now we have 125 minutes left in the game. The push is over. 58 down for Ink in the system. Not enough to take the lead. And that could cost them the set. Maybe. But we still have a long way to go. Even in those last 60 seconds.
Yeah, in the last minute of this, anything can happen, especially since it's Rainmaker of all things. So it looks like we are going to see Ink in the system use their specials. They had their armor, missiles all at the ready, so they are going to use those. But I love that. Ooh, nice bomb kill there from Killval, and just following that up with teaming up with their teammates to get this up. These last 2 picks does get that last pick too on Orbi, and just like that in the last 40 seconds, this is going to be really, really difficult for Ink in the system to regroup here. They have to defend, and then they also have to get the Rainmaker in their hands.
That can be huge. Snowfall on possession with the Rainmaker. If they have a bad luck, Freeze is not going to push at all. They're just gonna stand there and just defend the Rainmaker the best they could, because on that position they can do it pretty well. Freeze almost getting picked up by the... Oh, this can be bad for the Rainmaker, but the huge defense here with the pick here. The overtime is going to commence now. However, it's huge for Ink in the system to get that lead, especially with the Stingray. He's going to expire now. The Stingray not managing to get the Waymaker in time, but now Asa with a big problem here. And yeah, I believe it was also a splashdown in the play, so that was kinda unfortunate that Snowfall just picked up the Waymaker in the last 30 seconds or so, just stalling it out. That took away a lot of time for Ink in the system to regain the lead. And that is it for this set. Snowfall paves out the DC in Splatoon Skipper Pavilion, the unfortunate DC in Splatoon Skipper Pavilion, and they are winning the set with 2-1.
Yeah, really, really good comeback from that DC in game 1. So really, really good job to Snowfall, and also GG's to Ink in the system. That ending was, oh my gosh. I love the way that, they were trying to dodge the Stingray, Ink in the system was, and then just trying everything they possibly could, but unfortunately did get eventually called out. And but definitely it was really, really fun to watch Ink in the system play against Snowfall.
I believe Ink in the system tried to go through the right-hand side, to the slick side. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the Stingray just said, no. And yeah, they just had to improvise. They had to first dodge out the Stingray, which they did, which was really, really good. But unfortunately, that alone took so much time that it was almost impossible for Ink in the system to regain the lead. And yeah, that was a game set match for Snowfall then.
Yeah,
but it was really
ahead.
equaled out, so yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really fun to watch too. So that means with that round 3 being over with, we are going to be moving over to round 4. And in round 4 on stream, we get to watch Intimidation Factor versus Psychedelic Air Launchers. These are both a mouthful of team names to say.
I believe I just gonna stick with with abbreviations. I believe intimidation factor and psychedelic air launches. Kudos to those who came up with those names. Really, I'm not that creative, to be fair. Wow. Wow.
So it looks like psychedelic air launchers. We got the okay to call them PAL. So, and they are actually one of the Purdue teams. I guess there are 2 Purdue teams, and this is one of them. So on their side, on PAL, they have Dynamite Central, Koreki, Omozen, and Cold Pudding. And then on the other side, on Intimidation Factor, we have Arwen, Day/Nebula, Zenala, Mask, and Scrub.
As I'm looking at the document, going to run 2 in Silver Bracket and LSL, the psychedelic air launch. I just gotta call it PAL as well. So yeah, that might be a good thing, but not as much as going Top Cut as we had earlier. Yeah, the interesting fact is we are a collegiate Splatoon team representing Purdue University under their esports program along with ITAP. Wow! So it's an university, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Purdue is a university or college team, and it's really cool. We got to see them at Riptide. I don't think it was. I could be wrong. I'm not super familiar with the Purdue teams, but definitely one of the Purdue teams was at Riptide, so it was really cool to see them go to Riptide and play. That being said, though, we are going to be going straight into Game 1 here, and Game 1, we didn't get to highlight too much, but is Piranha Pit on for Clam Blitz. So starting out here, interesting on the side of PAL, we got to see a Splatter Scope, Squeezer 52, and Kensa Shot. And then on the other side, for Intimidation Factor, we see Nautilus Jr., Mini, and Bamboo.
The combination of Nautilus and Mini really catches my eye. I mean, to be fairly honest, I only have positive memories with this combination, especially with 2 Splatlings in one team. It could work out pretty well because you have so much power, and especially with the Mini you have much paint as well, with the Tanta missiles as well. However, yeah, we're going to pay a revisit in Clamlet's Piranha Pit as well. Both teams not going in much. However, Intimidation Factor has been split up as now PAL trying to get the push going. 2 down though. That might cost them the push as the K-Gal just said, nope, I'm out of here. And there's a wall for you as well. Oh no! They didn't stick to disengage though, and that is the Clam gone as well, and that might be the push here for Intimidation Factor. Yes, it is. They are commencing the first push here, and they are going to catch the second Super Clam from the opponent team as well.
Yeah, Zanala over here just juggling this basket, getting a pick paired with those missiles, and just continuing to be this beacon over here on this basket for their teammates. I love how long Zanala was over there, but then Zanala also jumped back. They recognized, hey, that looked a little interesting. Okay. They recognize, hey, we need to jump back and regroup with our teammates right now. So now it is PAL's turn to push into mid here and try and get mid going. But guess what? A Nautilus from Arwen is right there around the corner to call them out.
And this might be a good start here now for Intimidation Factor. 59 points down. That goes the Stingray, which is well seen here on Piranha Pit because it's a really long map. But now Arwen and especially with the Nautilus can make such a huge impact, as we see right now. Now double teaming here with the other Mini here, and Omega Zen had to jump out to dodge the missiles there. And Koeki with the squeezer trying to defend it over to the top here with the high ground advantage. Scrub trying to score, but the basket was too far away. And they is... Oh, we got it to see!
Oh, unfortunate.
Oh no. We got it to see Scrub trying to score some more, but the mini deceit. The mini deceit, and that is a huge impact because that is another paint weapon less for Intimidation factor, and that could be a huge beginning here for PAL to get the first push going, but they're having a lot of issues right now as the Inkjet trying to defend the base successfully. And yeah, now 4 pals onto mid, trying to take on three Intimidation factors. However, they cannot get that far as they have one down already. Now they have a big of an issue going up there, and the clam will disintegrate. Not yet.
Ooh. Ooh, I love that they snuck up and at least grabbed that power clam, so that way they have that. That means right now PAL has 25 clams, 30. They just going up right as I'm counting here. They have 34 clams at the ready. They're going to try and use that stingray and the bubbles to start pushing in, but 2 of them do go down. So that's going to be 3 and 4. Oh. That's a complete wipe on PAL. Now this 3v4. Oh my gosh, Arwen with the Nautilus, of course, just a lot of great pairing up. Even though there's 3 members up right now of Intimidation Factor, they're playing and grouping up really well and playing off of each other so well right now.
They are defending with everything they have. They have a lot. Even though there are only 3 people and a paint weapon less, they have so much control over the entire map. This is incredible stuff here from the Intimidation Factor. Now Psychedelic air launches with 5+20 time to get the clam in. They have to get the super clam in now in the next 20 seconds. But the stingray going in, and that could be a huge impact. However, oh, that was an important pick here for Nautilus. That was an important trade here. From the Nautilus, and now two from PAL trying to get the push done. The bomb denying the push here, and that is it. That is it. The Intimidation Factor with the clutch defense here, with the splat bomb coming into the perfect moment to get a splat bomb kill in. That was incredible from Intimidation Factor, even going with the DC, winning this game.
Yeah, that was awesome to see, and the perfectly placed splat bomb. So chef kiss when you get to see that. So that was really good. And even though Intimidation Factor did have 1 member down, they were just playing still. It felt like the 3 of them still had a lot of synergy, and they knew how to play around each other really well. And they were able to just really smartly back up when they needed to, or act aggressive when they needed to, even though they had a member down. And going into the next game, so game 2 is going to be Splat Zones on Inkblot Art Academy. How do you feel about this map and mode kill?
Oh, Splat Zones, great. Inkblot Art Academy. I really love Inkblot Art Academy. It's one of my. It's my favorite. It's my favorite map, and especially on Splat Zones. With a T-Tech, you can go full aggressive over the middle and just jump to the other side just to get some opening picks, and you can jump at the block, at the block to go to the tree. And the funniest thing is, in solo queue, it almost works every single time because people don't expect you going onto that tree on plat without going anywhere to the other side or so. So you can go really aggressive on Splat Zones Inkblot Art Academy if you have good vibes, especially if you have control over their over the plat. You can strike out one pushing opportunity for the opponent. So you can quite say, yeah, okay, I have plat, so if they are coming, they're coming from the right hand side. so the others can just look at the right hand side, try to control it there, and things can go really nasty for the opponent. So keeping the opponent at bay in Inkblood Art Academy is pretty much important. And we are going to see the practical after the theoretical. Now, Pal against the T-Tech, which I was expecting from Arvin. Maybe Arvin is going to do that opening. I don't believe so, because Arvin goes over the far right side. Wow, okay. That's an interesting opening way.
Also, important to note too, there is an explosion on the side of Pal, so that's really, really interesting. Oh, we didn't get to see because we were watching from Scrub's point of view there, but 3 members, and that's a complete wipe that's going to happen on the side of Pal. So Scrub here setting up on this mid tower. This is, of course, a really deadly spot for a charger to be sitting if you're on the other team. And just right now, with Zanala juggling the plat area, they are going to have to get ready for defense here, as we're seeing this Booyah Bomb come in from the side of Pal as they're trying to push in to get into the zone.
And yeah, that is deadly. If a charger is in mid, the only thing you can do is throw a Booyah Bomb in there, which they have. They have a K-Gale, which has a Booyah Bomb again. But they are quite getting crushed down here. The Pals here, as they're going down to 10 points. Are they going to keep the zone? Are they going to keep the zone now? Maybe it's still overthrown. They need to keep the zone now, because if they don't, it's going to be really, really, really nasty for the Pals. Now they have kept the zone finally, and 68 cooldown points. However, Intimidation Factor had a good opening. They had a beautiful opening, which basically the situation I was describing occurred previously there, because you could control the plat, and the score went from 100 to 11.
Yeah, that did happen. They did that really well. They controlled the other team's plat. They kept up pressure when they needed to. They backed up, and they were able to get their points all the way down to 11. So with 1 member down right now on Pal, they're going to have to figure out once again how to at least cap the zone. They did it once. They need to do it one more time. They are going to use the armor and these bubbles to start trying to push in. We're seeing Arwen here just acting really aggressively. Going to get 2 picks and trying to get this 3rd one. They aren't able to get to the zone either. That means that game 2 is going to be going over to Intimidation Factor, and that will be the set. So the set is actually going to be going to Intimidation Factor.
They were controlling plats not the entire time, but the crucial times there. Great job from the Intimidation Factors. That was a domination, because they had the wipe right now, right? They had the wipe in the opening, and they were instantly like, okay, let's control plat. So the charger can maybe look. So the charger had 2 options: either looking for them, or just look at the right hand side and snipe the evildoers being on the right hand side. The only options Pal had is if the charge is on the top, collect specials and throw a Booyah Bomb on the middle, which basically is a big waste, because actually they had a hero slusher, right? So they can just single missile the charger, and then it would be almost the same, but also a waste of the special for a position. Because it doesn't paint much, because the top has just like, I don't know how much percent it does to a zone. But anyway, they had not many options. And the 3rd option, which would be my option, is just snipe with an inkjet the charger off the tower. And they had the 2 options, but the problem is Intimidation Factor were so aggressive, especially with that T-Tech and with that opening. they had more issues firing up the game and staying on the defense and maybe going back for a comeback than actually capping the zone, because as they had an opportunity to cap the zone, they didn't, because intimidation factors somehow held onto that zone overthrow situation. So that was really important for intimidation factor to keep asserting the dominance over the pals, and therefore winning the set.
Yeah, it all played out really, really nicely for intimidation factor there. All right, so that is going to be it for Kyo and I. Do you want to plug yourself here before we go, Kyo?
I think I'm either going to sleep or play some Tetris. I do not know. Or maybe we are going to watch some.
Do you want to go ahead and shout out where the people can find you out?
Oh, sorry. I was a bit carried away. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm basically a German streamer. So if you have interest in watching my my Splatoon gameplay or maybe even my Tetris gameplay, you can always watch me on the twitch.tv/InklingOnFire. But I also am findable on Twitter, where I will post several stuff, maybe a lot of stuff, what's happening over there. But I don't have much. I have a YouTube channel, but I don't upload much there. What about you, Vissa?
For me, if anyone wants to follow me on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, it is going to be at Rissa High. And that's about all I got. So don't go anywhere if you're here in the stream watching. Magic and Popgun will be up next. So you guys are going to be in for a treat. But don't go anywhere. We're going on a break. We will be right back.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to SuperJump. I am Popgun, joined to the microphone by the Magic 8 Ball. We are back from Riptide, and for some reason, people thought it'd be a good idea for us to commentate yet again. So here we are, Magic. How's morale in West Lafayette? Even though we just saw Pal take a loss on screen.
Well, yeah, it's definitely struggling right now. Exam week has been cooking up for about this whole week, and it has not been great. But everyone's trucking. I tapped it well in pools today. Pals, as we saw on stream just now, they've been doing decently. Putting up fights, and things are still alive down here. How about yourself?
As long as you're still alive, you're doing something right. Unless you're not. We are going to be starting, I guess we're in round 5 here of Wave B, the weaker wave compared to Wave A. And we got Hyperflow taking on Maurice. Hyperflow being a stronger end of the low ink spectrum. Even though they've recently added Drago, who was formerly of SynRG. Might put them over the edge for low ink, especially if they do really well in this tournament, which is what they should be hoping to do. Taking on Maurice, this is a team loaded with +3 players, Melvingo, Blinky, and Ben, all in +3. I didn't scan +2, maybe one of them snuck their way into there. But regardless, this is an EU team. I don't know if this is like an actual team or just a pickup. Melvingo, or Maurice, I should say.
I believe it's a pickup kit. Don't quote me on that.
But it is an EU team who, for some reason, decided to go with the Wave B time slot. Maybe they just get a little bit more energetic when it's gotta. I guess in some parts of Europe, it's got to be Sunday morning at this point. I mean,
for most parts, especially like Germany, it's probably like 11, maybe 12, as of right now. And yeah, I mean, maybe their evenings were taken up and they couldn't all play together until now, which, all the power to them.
They got about 4 more rounds to go, including this one right here, Hyperflow and Maurice. Make sure you get those channel points in. We always encourage gambling of channel points here at IPL, and I think all the channel points I've lost have funded the prize pool for this tournament over the amount of times I've lost in gambling here. Again, I think Maurice would are voting. It looks like voting's already done with that. I would assume Maurice would be considered the favorite here. I would assume they're the higher seeded team. But Hyperflow, you add in that new player. You're one of the more stronger teams in low ink. You add in Drago. I believe he uses Tri-Slosher last I was seeing, or maybe that was just something in a solo queue. Hyperflow shouldn't be counted out here because anybody who's in that alpha bracket realm of low ink is considered good, even though they have that low ink stigma about them.
Right, yeah. Anyone who's breaking that top barrier. I mean, look at Luau, right? They're going to be in top cut after their pools this morning, and they were one of those staple low ink teams for a while. If they can get up there and start really training to make it to the top, they can use that momentum, use their SynRG, and really punch out of their weight class. And Hyperflow, I expect, it's a little bit early on, but I'd expect that from them. I've played against them before. Moo, great Gal player, and especially with these maps, it's going to be very nice for them with their hyper-aggressive style.
We are moving into round 5 here of Wave B in day 1 of SuperJump, Rainmaker, Manta Maria, Clan Blitz, Mako Mart. Splat Zones at Skipper Pavilion somehow finding its way into the map pool here. One of the better modes for Skipper Pavilion. I guess actually the one mode for Skipper
I was going to
say. Which technically makes it the better one. But game 1, Manta Maria, Rainmaker. It's I think Hyperflow is an anchorless team. Melvingo Charger?
I think a Splatling player, like mini Nautilus.
I think you might be right. But still, I guess what I'm trying to go with here is, with Rainmaker being game 1, are you going to have an anchor versus an anchorless kind of comp? I expect Hyperflow to be anchorless, and
Yeah, I'd expect
they
both
are.
sides
So
anchorless.
anchorless on both sides, actually, as we ready up. Nautilus being the longest range on the side of Maurice.
Maurice. That makes me think of the one of the, I forget what they're called, from Madagascar. The like King Julian and Maurice, right? I knew it. One player going down the side of Maurice right now gets the return kill after a couple of specials get thrown. Ink armor able to support Drago up on this Tri-Slosher, up on this bunk, and they're going for the cut, but there's 3 people trying to stop their path. Moo trying to break out of that cut area, but 2 go down. I believe it's to a Rainmaker shot. They need to paint up this wall. They do get up there as a bomb being thrown, but they end up going to that lower platform, and that's already a very strong push. They're trying to go around.
Oh!
They don't, but that's a really strong push, and as long as they can, as long as Hyperflow can prevent the Maurice from dropping off of that Legend Street on their side, they're going to be able to hold that lead, and that's really important.
Hyperflow with a little bit of cheese here to start off rounds. Did you see about slip around that back wall? That's a well, didn't quite make the landing there, but still damage done. 36 left to go. I guess off the top of my head, to get lead back, all you got to do is really drop down the natural way,
Right.
and that should be enough for Maurice to get the lead here. But Hyperflow coming out in this first minute and 30 seconds. Look at him controlling mid. Oh, starting to kind of get surrounded by a lot of specials here as the map is quickly turning green. But the splat's going kind of neutral on both sides. Look, Hyperflow, are they going to try it again? No, the cut gets shut down by Ray Shields.
Yeah, it looked like they got a little bit desync there. Zori ending up on the other side, able to get a couple of picks, but, you know, they decided to pick up the Rainmaker, and then when they realized they couldn't go anywhere, they were just like, alright, shove this as far into the enemies as possible. But it's going to open up and counter push for Maurice here, and as 2 go down, and this ledge is completely unguarded. They land, it didn't get them the lead just there, but they were able to move forward a tiny, tiny bit, and Hyperflow fumbling a little bit on this defense. Austin trying to find something here, able to get the Rainmaker down from shooting behind that wall. But that's a pretty hefty lead, and from what we saw earlier with Hyperflow's cheesy kind of pushes, they're not going to be able to sustain a push long enough to get that kind of a lead.
Fireworks coming off here in the first half of this game as we cross the halfway mark. These two teams coming out with very aggressive comps, not holding anything back. When they grab the Rainmaker, they go. They're going, they're pushing up and getting these splats. You'll love to see this kind of very aggressive Western style of play. 2 players going down on each side. Moo, a very strong K-Gal player, as you said, gets a nice splat there on Max. Now picking up the Rainmaker, and there's just no hesitation here. They just see Rainmaker, they grab it, they go. Now starting to back up a little bit, waiting for the rest of Hyperflow to get into position to try to get control of that enemy street. You see 10 working around that left side there, going in a 1v1 with Ray Shield. Ray Shield gets the nice splat, and now the Rainmaker's running out of options as the pincer is coming on here. 2 players down for Hyperflow, and that is going to end the push right there. About a minute that it took for them to get that push, and it didn't really go anywhere.
No, and like you were saying, that kind of grab and go, that really hyper-aggressive playstyle where they're throwing their bodies at the enemy team in hopes to just out-mechanic them, it'll end up working for a while, quite honestly, but if they're not coordinating with their specials, and we see that they had the double armor here, they just kind of threw both of them out. They're just kind of tossing out these specials as they come, and it's not sustaining these pushes, and their positioning is not helping each other out. So because of that, we're seeing 2 down again on the side of Hyperflow, as I believe that is Moo, who was all the way up there, is able to find a kill, and this could lead to something from the depths. This bomb's coming out, but it doesn't look like they have any sort of presence in mid, and Popgun, if they don't have enough paint, even if they're alive on the enemy side of the map, they're not going to be able to get a push.
And, you know, when Ray Shields takes down your Tri-Slosher, almost gets taken down themselves. That's a big pick for Zore. You know, you're talking about paint control. Not a lot of paint coming out from the side. Oh, actually, what happened there? Did they do it again? They get a lead and they get a wipe out of nowhere. Did they go back door? We missed that completely.
I guess they went back door while that Inkjet was in the air and Zori was over in street. They're not even picking this up, which is just hilarious. They're gonna let it reset, give them the timer a little bit, and give them like not have to waste all that time bringing it back to mid, which is smart. But it gives them a lot of time to set up. One going down to the side of Hyperflow here, as Max is going all the way in with his Tri-Slosher, trying to find one more shot, but Austin able to find the pick on the Rainmaker from a shark spot over on those ramps, and that's a full wipe and no chance for Maurice to get back, and a crazy comeback from the grab and go of Hyperflow. What in the world did we miss?
I'm sorry, what happened?
What?
I don't think the stream lagged. No, I think what happened, we were watching a fight in Street, but I think they tried that little backdoor cut again on that little Clamblitz area. I mean, that's what it looked like, because it looked like there was a lot of paint down that mid. So I have no idea what, by hook or by crook, Hyperflow just, you know, and that's, you okay, so you grab the Rainmaker a lot, and you just keep trying to make something work, right? Which is what they were doing.
Yeah.
Even in situations where they had 2 players left alive versus 4 on the other team, they were still grabbing it and trying to make something. When you keep throwing those punches, eventually one of them is going to connect, especially on a mode like Rainmaker, and just the right punch connected there, and Hyperflow somehow found a way to get lead, somehow. And find themselves up 1-0 against this this pickup +3 level team here.
I can't believe how long Moo stayed alive in their base, like all the way up their ramps, where that street area is, where that main Rainmaker path goes. She was just up there. She stayed alive for like a minute, just fending off people, especially utilizing that wall and finding picks and just being an utter nuisance. And I guess because of that, they found a way to sneak in, and Austin on the Rainmaker holding, able to just maneuver around shots. And that's a skill in and of itself, especially if you're going to be picking up the Rainmaker a lot. You need to have people who are confident with moving with the Rainmaker, and that's its own skill.
You saw a lot of confidence with the Rainmaker, whether it was warranted or not, from the side of Hyperflow. Now we're moving in game 2, Clamblitz and Mako Mart. We're going to see both those Tri-Sloshers come back out, I would assume. The K-Gal obviously is something Hyperflow is going to be sticking with, but Maurice, what kind of adjustments would we need to see here? They went anchorless in the Rainmaker one. You can afford to go anchorless here. It's such a smaller map. The baskets are so close to each other. It's one of those situations where if you get wiped, you're sacrificing a lot, because the other team can just instantly show up at your doorstep and start lighting up the scoreboard. But Maurice probably is the team that has a little bit more flexibility in their comps that we're going to be seeing what they come out with right here. Coming out with another Kinsa machine, so a double bucket, but still kind of sticking with that that Nautilus. Ray Shields being very good with that Nautilus we saw in the last game. Just didn't get the right pick at the right moment that cost them.
Exactly, and I think that's going to be the main key here, is not letting Hyperflow get into that flow state of that constant pressure and momentum, especially right here. Plugging up the right flank alley, super key, and having that Nautilus there to keep them at bay is super important, and I think that'll help them out. And the Slosher machine pushing up as well here, falling back now because of the push in mid from the other side. That's 2 down for Hyperflow, and this could be a push starting. Doesn't seem like they have the clams at the ready just yet, but Trago trading out, just trying to throw themselves everywhere and just prevent them from really making a sustained push. And I think that's the adjustment that Hyperflow made later on in that match we're in. They're just kind of carrying it in here. If they can just keep trading, the other team can't really get a good push off.
The K-Gal nerf must have hit Moo, because they decided to go with the K-Shot here all of a sudden. As we see Maurice starting to push up, if they can get a splat there on Moo, and no, they get 10 instead, and now 2 players down on each side, so not really a lot of clams that they can work with. Ray Shield's going down, and this is the last thing you want to do. You do not want to get wiped when you are scoring. Now, the Kinsa machine wisely backing off, saving that splashdown. That's going to be big as far as what they do, as far as stopping this counter push that Hyperflow is trying to bust out here. And that's really key. Since that machine didn't go down, they couldn't just rush up and immediately score some more points. That allowed everybody from Maurice to come back in. Moo working with some others, trying to get some picks here. Oh, Ray Shields, do they get taken down here? They escape? They do escape and start returning fire. That's kind of critical in its own right. 2 players going down. This Power Clam should find its way into the basket. So a lot of points there scored, but oh, Magic. Oh, they're going to show up right at your doorstep right now.
Luckily, they were able to send in a power claim for that last throw-in, so they were able to buy themselves at least a little bit of time because the basket wasn't down, but this is still going to be a hefty push, and they just do not have the positioning, especially to deal with this toilet paper tower here. Max is able to use that sloshing machine to his fullest advantage in this position. They keep just sending them down. Blinky able to get some clams from the backside, and Zora is able to flank around at least a little bit. Austin coming in now, able to clear out underneath the clam basket, but their base is still painted blue, and the clams have not stopped coming in just yet. Ben here, able to find at least one clam. That's 3 going down on the side of Hyperflow, and Ray Shields is just staying under this basket, moving around, and even though we see the clam spinning, they're still keeping this going.
It was a great positioning by Maurice on that push. You saw the inkjet popping off around the right side and the sloshers controlling the little drop area in the basket where they're at right now. They popped the basket yet again. I don't think they're really going to get anything out of this other than just giving another Mercy Clam to the side of Hyperflow. You see Moo and 10 forcing that other player to jump out. So not really adding a whole lot of value to their score, but still damage kind of done in the sense that they still gain map control. They didn't really lose a lot of bodies in the process. Zora here working with 10 yet again, trying to make some sort of play here. They got another situation where they can get a couple splats. They get one. Max able to get a trade out of that situation, staying alive. Man, it's always Max who's the last player that's staying alive and is causing a lot of issues right here. Takes care of the guy scoring the basket, and now, they're not going to get lead off of this, but no, actually, somebody's got a lot of clams. They do a jump in, and that's enough to get lead, and Drago staying alive. That's the more critical thing of all of this, just being a weasel left in the hen house, and that stalls everything for Maurice.
I can't believe that Hyperflow even found their way in there. Zora just completely wasted that booyah, and it seemed like they weren't going to get anything going, but I guess just a couple of people were pushed up on the side of Hyperflow, and just causing enough of a distraction where they were able to sink in a couple of clams and go back, get that power clam. But this splashdown is going to land, and that's going to be the lead for Maurice in this last moment. 2 down on either side, make that 3 down for Maurice, and somehow just blows being traded back and forth, and whichever team is going to have the most endurance and the strongest mental is going to be left standing after this.
4 lead changes so far in this game. Can Hyperflow make it 5 and end round 5 right here? Zora going down to Ray Shields, who's been popping off with that Nautilus 15 KA alongside the rest of Maurice players that have just been eating up Hyperflow at this point. And now they're getting all the picks that they need. Zora being the last player left alive for Hyperflow with about 10 seconds left to go. I don't think that, no, they do have a power clam, but right now they need to get everybody out of their base. This is a little bit of a spawn camping situation going on here. Totally legal in competitive Splatoon, as they can't even get, look, they're throwing the wall too. They don't even give him an opportunity to pick up that Mercy Clam. They finally do, and Max does go down. Can Drago sneak past this Inkjet and all the other players? No. 10 in the right position, being the last player left alive. Everyone converged at the basket, and Maurice just turned a different switch there at the end and went from being a back and forth game to, nah, we're the +3 team. We're going to start dominating when it matters the most.
That was just a classic setup of a lockout, and perfectly executed too at just the perfect time. And that's a team that's working together. A lot of those are probably assists when you think about it, especially on that tri-slosher. Having that arbor using it together with the team. I mean, we saw that from the last game. We saw something like that, but in this game, all of their Ks were inflated, whereas last game there were a couple that were still in the single digits. And having that coordination, that pure domination, definitely showed. Even though Hyperflow got a lot of good pushes off, they always ended up on the back foot because they would get picked off.
You know, a lot of times when you have like those inflated number of splats, what it kind of signifies is that, a lot of those are just kind of defensive splats. Like the team is forced to feed into you, and you're just kind of like shutting down a Rainmaker or a tower control push or something like that. That wasn't the case in that game. All those splats were coming in mid and on Hyperflow's side of the map. Those splats were coming when they were scoring, keeping the basket open, extending their pushes. The fight in this very condensed map was fought mostly on Hyperflow's side of the map the entire time. Other than those few times where you saw they were able to kind of sneak behind everybody, and that's where the jump came in, where Hyperflow was able to get the lead later in that game. But Maurice doing a very good job of kind of boxing Hyperflow into a corner and just landing punch after punch there to where they couldn't really get away from it.
And it's kind of funny, it's the reverse of what we saw in the last game, right? Where Hyperflow was the one who was kind of dictating the pace of the match, constantly having the Rainmaker in control, constantly throwing those punches. And this game it was the reverse. It was Maurice who was dictating the pace, having those constant pushes, having that constant map control. And I think that's the difference they needed to have. They needed to play a bit more patient, play a bit more focused on control. And when they did that, they were completely shutting down all of the avenues that Hyperflow had.
And now a critical game 3. Splat Zone's Skipper Pavilion. It all comes down to which team is going to be beta, and they get the right side advantage on this map. The only map in the game that is not 100% symmetrical, and a couple of boxes at the top are like misaligned as well from left and right side, so it's kind of a weird map, but still a fun one to see. Again, we're not expecting any anchors to come out here, and why would you use one? If you're Maurice and your Nautilus has been popping off in both games from Ray Shield, and you've been doing just fine with that Nautilus being your like pseudo midline anchor kind of thing, then why would you change it up? It works out so well. For Hyperflow, I guess again, they showed they're not exactly one-dimensional. They can use K-Shot over the K-Gal. That Tri-Slosher is still going to be in effect here. Obviously, Tri-Slosher works out in pretty much every kind of situation, depending on where your positioning kind of is here. But as we see the team starting to ready up, no real surprises there. Junior coming out instead of a Tri-Slosher from the side of Maurice, and Bamboo instead of a K-Pro from Hyperflow.
Zore is traditionally, I believe, a Charger player, but switches off to use Anchorless when the time calls. But on a map like this, where the curling bombs are going to be really effective, the paint and the missiles are going to be oppressive, this is the perfect place to pull out the Bamboo and completely throw off the enemy team from what they were normally seeing. Moo using this Booyah Bomb to at least neutralize Zone for a little bit. Whistle's getting tossed out right afterwards. There's just so much pressure coming out from this Hyperflow composition already, even though they were one player down, 2 down on the side of Maurice here, and even though the clock is ticking for them, not going to be for long.
VDS coming out from the side is Maurice as well, coming out with those missiles. So missiles on both sides. That's going to be the key special that everybody's going to be using to kind of scatter people away from zone so the other people can come in and kind of cap it with either a Booyah Bomb or a Splashdown. But right now, Maurice in control, all the penalty points out of the way. And here's where Hyperflow has to make a decision. How many players do you send down the spine and middle, and how many players do you send down your left side? You don't want to bottleneck yourself and sending down everybody. It looks like everyone's kind of funneling down that left side, and you see Maurice players starting to respond to it. Unless somebody else is coming down mid and we don't really recognize it. But still, Blinky doing a very good job of contesting zone, staying alive. The K-Dow goes down for Hyperflow and is now Blinky just still laying down a lot of paint. And Zore's the last player left alive, gets wiped. And now Hyperflow needs to come up with a game plan fast as you see them coming with the K-Down down mid.
Zora really needed to hit those shots right there. Unfortunately, he could not land them. It seems like they're really trying to use this double armor to force their way in, but since they don't have any pushing specials to make enough space, they're not going to be able to. Moo just throwing a Booyah Bomb out here, trying to find something. It doesn't even neutralize the zone, didn't even put much paint down. That's just going to be the game. Maurice, a very dominant fashion, just backing up when Hyperflow took that one final swing and left him stumbling.
You know, so much of this game is about momentum. Like when you get those right splats that get your whole VC hype, and then everybody kind of elevates their own play and they start playing the play style that you would expect everyone to be at. In that middle of that Clan Blitz game, when Hyperflow flipped that switch, when Maurice flipped that switch, they did not look back for the rest of the set, and that bled over into that Splat Zones game. Pure dominance from start to finish there. Hyperflow showing a good fight, especially in that Rainmaker game. Had their moments in Clan Blitz there, but ultimately Maurice just a little too much experience and firepower going into their favor as they win this set.
I do believe that Hyperflow has a good future ahead of them, personally, and I'm excited to see where they go. They had a lot of good showing, even in that Clan Blitz game. I mean, they had a lot of strong qualities about them, you know, and it was really unfortunate to see them not being able to capitalize off their specials, not really using the Booyah Bomb properly in that last game, but I really did enjoy this set.
Hey, when it was, I guess it started off the day as play all three, and then Smash GG had a brain fart, or like the person we called didn't work out or whatever, so now it's just best of three. So now that it's, you know, being able to have 3 games on stream is always a plus. And we have, you know, this matchup that we're about to see here, Paradise versus SynRG. If you had told me these two teams were going to play like a week ago, I would have felt more inclined that this would be more of a toss-up. SynRG being a very strong team in their own right, banned from Low Ink. Paradise being mostly players from that Twisted Time team that arguably won Low Ink back in March of 2021.
Okay. Yeah,
But Paradise, so you told me a week ago when these two teams were playing, I feel like it would be more of a toss-up. But after what Paradise did in SOS, finishing in 3rd place, being up, they beat Tuki. I forget who they played in the 3rd place match, but they were up 2-0 over Luau in the semifinals of the top cut bracket in SOS. So they're finding themselves in this situation now, coming off of all that momentum of doing very well in that SOS. Makes me think they might have the advantage here, and maybe that's why everybody just dumped their entire wallet in the Paradise. But don't count SynRG out just yet. All these players for SynRG, very strong in their own right. I'm not familiar with Ryoma Stan. Might be a new player that they've picked up, because we haven't seen SynRG in a while, so maybe they've been recruiting or something. But all the players for SynRG, very strong roster in their own right.
I believe that SynRG and what was Twisted Time ended up playing in the last Ludi season. I don't remember the outcome of that set, but these are teams that have played against each other, know each other, and probably have a little bit of a rivalry going.
Well, when you're, yeah, I mean, it's not Twisted Time, but it's, you know, it's whenever a team disbands and rises from the ashes of another team, it always gives you that sense of like, okay, this looks very familiar. I feel like I've seen this before. SynRG and Twisted Time did play. They were in the same group. SynRG got the better of them. Actually, no. Yeah, SynRG won 5-3. Again, that was back in April, March. Things have changed a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see. But again, Paradise, the newish team, and Eevee getting voted into +3. I think the credit has to go to the fact that they did really well in that SOS. Kind of raised some eyebrows there. Daybreak, formerly from Resilience, a very good Nautilus player. Kind of making that transition over there. Picked up a nice free agent for Paradise, but. Yeah, so I guess maybe that new kind of blended roster that they have has helped take Paradise to the next level. But if you're SynRG and you're watching this chat, which we know a lot of players do when they're actually on stream, they pay attention to the commentary in chat, and they're seeing all these channel points going to Paradise, and they see me hyping up what Paradise did in SOS, they might be thinking, ooh, this is a good opportunity for us to kind of remind people why we are banned from Low Ink as well.
I do believe that, does Eevee still play Carbon? I know that was his main weapon, and I'm excited, if so, I'm excited to see that, because I mean, Tower Control, Anchovy, Black Belly, great maps for Carbon. And this should be, because of that, the pressure from the Nautilus, and I'm sure the support that the rest of the team gives them, Carbon is such a hard weapon to use effectively in a team environment, but when it gets done right, it's such a joy to see. And I'm expecting Eevee to be using these ledges to be being a menace on these fans and dropping down and spamming those burst bombs. It's going to be really interesting. But the key to playing with Carbon, and this is something that we've learned recently, is to have that coordinated effort, to have a lot of paint on the ground to help them move around, and to use a lot of chip damage to support the Carbon and let them get their kills easier, to let them get a lot of those ledge goblin, like, what seemingly impossible kills a lot easier.
Looked up the I looked up the stat or the so like every team had the opportunity to like submit information about themselves if they so desired, and if they ended up on stream. The interesting facts that SynRG submitted about themselves is we like Smash. Okay. Well, that's good. I think there is a Smash tournament going on right now. I saw earlier on Twitch. This is you're not gonna see any Diddy Kong banana peels in this game. Let's see, 52. Nautilus.
Are you sure?
Well, I guess
Anything
I don't
can
know.
happen.
Carbon's kind of trippy like that. A lot of paint coming out from the side
Flingza.
of Paradise to kind of complement the. Oh yeah, that is a Flingza coming out from Eevee. Okay, so the missiles going around. Maybe they're kind of highlighting the Nautilus, giving the Nautilus a lot of paint to kind of work with there. On the side of SynRG, healthy amount of paint from themselves, the K-Shot and the H3D with armor. A very good armor weapon in the right hands, but two players immediately going down for SynRG.
H3 is one of those weapons that you have to one-trick, and you have to be very good at it to make it effective. Aim is everything, especially on that weapon. I know this game is very centered around mechanics, but especially with H3. As this first person is going, that H3 going down, unfortunately losing their chance to armor early on. They still haven't pumped out one even almost a minute into this game, and it's going to spell disaster. Look at that, the Junior already pumping out 2, and Paradise is kind of mopping the floor right now, pushed up all the way into their base. Holy cow.
No one's died. No one has died yet for Paradise. If they can clear the second checkpoint, and that's kind of the... I mean, obviously, they should be looking for the KO right here. You got all the momentum on your side. You got all these specials kind of built up. Can they find a way to get past this third checkpoint now? Is Booyah Bomb and Inkjet coming out? Are they going to get to this third checkpoint without dying at all? One more player coming around that right side. Eevee finally goes down, and they do clear that third checkpoint. Now are the players going to keep this up? Yeah, they're forced to kind of retreat there. So, minute and a half before somebody goes down from the side of Paradise. SynRG not out of this just yet. Maybe saving that checkpoint can, or maybe saving that KO can pay off down the road for them here. They got a lot of time to work with.
They do. I think they finally found a little bit of their footing here. They were a bit on ice. Coming into this, maybe a little bit of the nerves, but they were able to find some specials, find a little bit of pressure, and just band together around that cover, around that sponge, and just barely make something happen. Armor's getting popped on both sides, and we're not going to see too big of a brawl just yet, although one player, I believe, is up in the plat, able to find one because of that nice splashdown jump from the Kenza machine. Goosebumps here, trying to find a pick. This Booyah Bomb comes up, not going to find anything, and they've got control of Paradise's streak.
You know, Paradise played literally a perfect opening minute there, just about. But that doesn't mean SynRG is out of this game at all. You just got to win one checkpoint at a time. They clear that first checkpoint. That's going to pay dividends for them over the course of the next 2.5 minutes that they have here. And they got what they needed and started to jump out. But if they can get more of those picks, get back into that plat like they did, and kind of recollect themselves, start clearing that one more checkpoint, and then over the course of this game, find a way to clear out that second checkpoint, they can get right back into this one, honestly. But not landing that splashdown. That would have been a nice splashdown to get, and two more players going down from the side of SynRG. Paradise just trying to establish control in mid here, and they're doing a good job with that.
Seems like Paradise wasn't really finding exactly what they wanted these past couple of minutes after that first push, but now they're able to find their footing, able to get some breathing room, it looks like. And that's probably because of this Flingza being able to push up, because of the lack of specials on the side of SynRG now. And the momentum's shifting back in their favor really quickly. And two is going to be a really important interaction. Able to find the cancel on the splashdown. Eevee pushing up, using those horizontal flicks, and able to find trades. It's going to be 2-2. They're not going to be able to get a sufficient push-off, but they bled the clock, and they still have control of mid right now.
Yeah, every single trade is going to go into favor of Paradise just because of what the scoreboard is right now. If SynRG wants to win this one, they have to win 1v1s cleanly, and they're just not finding a way to do that just yet. Mid control still into favor of Paradise. We see a lot of specials being popped from Paradise as well. I guess that's kind of the difference of using Flingza over Carbon for Eevee. With Carbon, a lot of the times I've seen Carbon players just not use their special ever. Like they just never use that chicken bomb rush. But with Flingza, already 7 missiles coming out. That does play a bit of a difference. as far as helping out the rest of your team, because the enemy team is just constantly on their back foot. And when you're still getting the splats like that, that just seems like a better Carbon.
That's kind of the argument that a lot of these roller players are making, is that it has kind of a similar hitbox on that horizontal flick, and it's just as fast. Even though you don't have the movement, even though you have the burst bombs, it's still very fluid gameplay, and you're able to just output a ton of paint and a ton of specials. And because of that, we're seeing impressive moments like this, where even can still go in and do some damage with this Inkjet. Baroon was able to finally take him out, but it's not going to be a lot. It's not really going to be too much of a benefit. There's 10 seconds left, and they need to get to this tower, and this wall is preventing them from doing that. Able to find one. They're on the tower now, but Popgun, this is looking like a very long uphill battle, especially with a lot of green paint.
Yeah, just trying to move the sled up the mountain, and didn't really even get taken off at any point there. Paradise coming out, flexing early. It rode the tower for a long time there on that final to play, but Paradise up 1-0. SynRG going into game 2. The takeaways for SynRG, how you get back into this one, you got to say, okay, look, we played horrible in that first minute. There's no denying that. But once we got settled down, the game kind of slowed down a little bit. It kind of evened itself out. So if SynRG can just come out and match that aggression that Paradise is throwing at them at the start of this game, they could be fine. They could be back into this one. But if Paradise comes out just as strong as they did last time, on a mode like Rainmaker, it's going to be over very fast.
Here's the thing about that first push, is that if you get a super good push that early, the risks that you have to take in the match goes down significantly. You don't have to be as forward. You don't have to be making those opening plays where you need to open up your opponents. You can let the flow of the match dictate itself, and when things get a little too hairy, you can throw everything out and position correctly and just play solid defense and just neutralize pushes. And so if they're able to keep the score low and force Paradise to make a few risky decisions and then capitalize off of that, it could be better. But if Paradise is just going to execute on every single imbalance and advantage that they get, it's going to lead them to exactly what we saw in the first game. And I think that's what it came down to, was just perfect execution. I mean, they didn't die for a minute and a half. How do you do that? How do you do that?
I mean, honestly, that was the most kind of jaw-dropping thing about that whole opening push, is just that they didn't die. And I guess some specials had to be popped out from SynRG that just kind of slowed down the fact that they didn't get the KO there, because it did take them a long time to get that push. Skiddo coming out with the V Heavy. We stay in Hydras here at IPL. There's the Carbon Roller coming out on the side of Paradise as well. Daybreak came out, actually. Daybreak is, so they subbed out Daybreak, I guess, for that heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because they wanted the right? And they still wanted the paint from the splatling. Eevee able to find a trade here, very nice. As one Guru goes down the right side, Rube able to find another one really quickly, and this Rainmaker is on its way. Squid taking it all the way to this box. The Ray out here already, using it offensively, and that's exactly why they brought it on instead of the Nautilus. Able to put on so much pressure, able to get a pick, and this Rainmaker is just continuing to move all the way down to 11, and though no push is safe on this map, this is a very solid push, and they're going to keep it going. The Heavy's already still here. Okay, SynRG again found their foot, but remember what I just said about taking risks? Now they don't have to do anything. They executed one push.
They don't have to do anything, and now they have the Stingray comp that they need to just kind of bleed out this clock. Now, they're not going to just sit back for 4 minutes and play Turtle here, but they do. That is the advantage of having that Stingray, is that you can slow down any push now that you have this huge lead. Now, again, it's Rainmaker, so nothing's safe until the time. Yeah, we get that. But when you have 11 points remaining in the opening minute, you're going to be feeling pretty comfortable over the course of this set. All the pressure on SynRG as you see them pushing up yet again, trying to find those splats that they were finding in the second half of the tower control game. Not really working out right there. Eevee kind of sharking around that right side, able to get a nice splat on... what name is that? We can't even see that, so small. And now there is the Stingray combined with this Chicken Rush on this left side. The Rainmaker can't find a way to survive it. So they lose Daybreak, and I was thinking, okay, they're not going to have the same kind of aggression they had, but now it doesn't matter at all.
Well, yeah, because especially on Anchovy, you want kind of that longer range aggression, but on a map like this, where there's so much verticality, there's all these ledges, and you can sneak up and find a pick on the Rainmaker just like that. You don't need as much room, and you can have like a good bit of paint, sure, but the Carbon can just work. As they're taking this push again, Eevee jumping out to reposition, they jump back in, and this Rainmaker is just constantly getting shoved into the throat of SynRG.
Here's a window here, but look, uh-oh. Okay, that was... But, okay, so that actually, there were a lot of players left alive for SynRG, but Eevee getting that trade right there just leaves Stan here by themselves with armor to pop for nobody else. And popping armor, but most of those players are behind. So now if they don't push up immediately, that armor's not really going to benefit them a whole heck of a lot. So a little bit of frazzledness coming out here from SynRG. But again, if they can just find a way to start getting some splats, they can get back into this one, trying to be positive here. Squib trying to find a way to pop the Rainmaker along with Rube, who's getting double teamed. Yeah, Goosebumps coming off of the H3 onto Nautilus here. Able to kind of work their way to find that splat as we now approach a minute 40 left to go. Man, the clock is going very fast in this game, it feels like.
Yeah, it feels like there hasn't even been too much action. As I say that, to go down to the side of Paradise, and this Rainmaker is moving. Here comes that Ray, but there's nobody there to stop the Ray from working its magic, stopping that push instantly. Here comes Eevee on the side, able to find Goosebumps, and there's not going to be a lot that the one sloshing machine can do, even though they can kite out this Carbon, sure. But there's not going to be able to push that, and it's just so easy to get a pick with the Ray, to find the Rainmaker and stop the push, to get a quick two-piece with this Carbon, especially if they're being annoying from the other side of the map. And with the consistency of the players on the side of Paradise, it's just so hard to make anything happen. They need to coordinate these specials better. They need to use this armor to actually find some picks. The time is running out, and Eevee is flanking. One down already for the side of SynRG, and that make that two. The double team. Even though Eevee does go down here, Jolly Jonah is going to have to make some jolly plays. They're able to find one, but can they make any kind of a difference? The jumps are coming in, but there's such a wall in front of them.
The nice, there's a jolly play for you right there, taking down Squib, and 2 players down. Here's your second window of the whole game. They need to be a little bit patient with this, though, because there is a Stingray, and they don't really have a lot of paint to kind of work with, but 2 players are down. It's just the Squib. Oh, and they're going right towards Squib. Oh, the one place you couldn't go to with the Rainmaker. They're not going to be able to pop it and pick it up in time. The Junior's shutting down everything along with that Stingray. And SynRG had a couple of moments right there. Paradise getting the sweep and ending this set early into their favor and earning a lot of money for people with the channel points they put down. But I do want to point out, SynRG had their moments in that game. They had a couple of pushes where they could have just moved if just a little bit more patient. And I know you can't really be patient on that last push because you knew as soon as they got splatted, it was over. But in that first push they had, if they just waited a little bit, maybe just put some paint down, waited for more players to spawn back in and get back into the action and kind of clear out some room for them to work with, then maybe you could have had something going there. But they got the Rainmaker splatted, and the rest of the players just kind of got cleaned up as well. And then all of a sudden your push is completely over instead of doing this like elongated push to where you could have eventually got lead, if not immediately hit a home run. Regardless, Paradise, coming in strong into this tournament. Obviously getting a nice win over there from SynRG. SynRG having their moments, but Paradise just having a little bit more recent experience working into their favor. A nice win for Paradise.
A very nice, confident win. And, especially heading into the second day, you want to be taking these wins. You want to be taking these teams that you've fought in the past, that you know that you're slated to win against, and taking them and having these strong showings where you're executing, where you're proving that you're in the place that you got to because you've grown, is a very nice feeling.
Now we are very quickly moving on here. Reds, okay. There's somebody is playing a sick joke on us with these matches that are getting pulled on stream here. The third team involved in the legendary incident of Low Ink March 2021 has now made an appearance. We had Dynasty Dragon Wave, aka Spectrum, on earlier. I believe Riza and Kaio were commentating that one. Obviously, we just did the reincarnation of Twisted Time, and now the last team, Red Sun, is here, and with the same roster that they had basically when they won Low Ink. Delta, Tina, Admir, Vertigo, Beam, Vertigo coming out with that tint comp coming out. Admir with the Nautilus, Beam with the Beam and Delta kind of trading off with K-Shots and Inzaps, and Tina being the very, very annoying brush player, and that is a compliment for any brush player to call them annoying.
One of the, I would say, I don't want to say veterans of the scene, but definitely just been around a long time as a consistent brush player that puts on a lot of pressure and knows the game very well, and that's Tina to a T. On the other side, Marcus BB looks like a name that I've seen so often in solo, but I can't like put a name to a face. You know, I don't really know too much about this other team.
You're about to. This is DivX team. Now, they're a very old team. Some of the results they put down on their sheet date back to 2018, but they played in the first season of Tassel under the name of Gagaku. Most of these players from Germany, one player being from Sweden. So this is if the should be this should be a pretty strong team if they live up to what their notable achievements have listed here. Now you never know, maybe they haven't been playing a lot recently or something like that, but I think that kind of reflects on why all the channel points went to them.
Yeah, no, that would make a lot of sense. 3 years? They put down results from 3 years. I mean, I guess if they're notable results, I mean, sure. But geez, that is a throwback. Do you remember the original Tassel?
No, I do not. There's probably some historian in chat who could. Let me read off some of these results here. SQSS. Is that
That was the Squid Boards.
I was about to say that's a Squid Board tournament. That was from spring of May of 2018. They got 4th place in that. Placed first in Inkvitational.
Wait, what? Wait.
What was the Inkvitational? You know that?
That was the Ink TV Invitational that was run with the top 16 teams at the time. I can remember some like names and faces, but it was in like the prime, like right after STVX had like fallen. I don't want to say fallen, but essentially I think that was right around that time. Like, do you remember Super Meme? The team Super Meme with
vaguely.
Oh my gosh.
Some of these teams that have been around. There's so many teams that were at the top or like were kind of flirting with like being near the top of knocking off like FT Win or like Kraken Paradise or Team Olive back when they were like Ghost Gaming. That you just kind of forget about because they never really accomplished that major feat of being, of knocking off one of the big boys, so to speak. And then you just kind of forget about him. Yeah, Super Meme. Yeah, I remember that name. But it's hard to it's hard to kind of remember all of these teams over the course of this time. But I mean, the more we're looking into Team Orion, the more eyebrow raising they are.
Right, that's right. The original team wasn't called Team Orion; it was just Orion. And they played among the likes of Hive, Demise, Kraken Paradise, Ghost Gaming, Doggy Dog World, which was Power's pickup. I believe that was with Hexen at the time. Back Squids, Luminous Sea before they got picked up by Global Breakout. Prophecy before they were sponsored. El Firmament, Chikara. Oh my gosh, this is bringing me back. Now that I'm remembering this, the memories are coming back to me, and Red Sun, I love them. They graduated from Low Ink, but now that I'm remembering, if they're playing like they did back then.
Well, let's look that up real quick. I'm gonna take a quick look at their pools, and of course, Smash. Okay, so this is oh gosh, what pool are these guys in specifically? That's gonna take. Oh no, that's not it. That's not it. But yeah, we can look up to see how good they've done specifically. Okay, they're in Pool B. They got Starburst in their pool. Oh, what fun. Okay, so Michelin Heroes beat Team Orion. Penguins of Greenland beat them. So they're currently 1-2 right now, whereas Red Sun actually beat Penguins, who beat Team Orion. So okay, maybe this is what we'll see. We're gonna find out something here real quick. I mean, there's a reason this match was put on stream. On paper, it seems like, but I mean, you kind of talk about like players that haven't played in a while. Yeah, they right. used to be something really strong, but when they come back after a while, you know, the scene has changed, the meta has changed. You know, like there's that really strong team. I can't think of their name, but everyone used to clown on them because like they came from Splat 1, and it's like, do you guys even know how to play Clam Blitz? You know, it's like, have you ever seen this mode? So we'll see. On paper, you would assume Team Orion would have the advantage here, but you see how these teams have played today. Penguins of Greenland beating Team Orion earlier in this pool. Red Sun beating that same team. Doesn't always line up though. Doesn't mean A beat B, so B has to beat C. No, that we've seen quite a lot of kind of circles of teams taking wins off of each other here in this sets earlier in this tournament here. So don't count Red Sun out just yet. Some would argue they're technically the favorite here.
I'm excited for this match now. I'm very excited because especially with the results of the Super Bowl.
We're kind of hyping ourselves up for it, aren't we?
I mean, hey, the commentators aren't hyping who's hyping.
What we're doing right now, this is usually the conversation we have when we're on a break between okay, who are these two teams that we're looking up here? We're kind of doing some information scouting on the fly, and it's making things a lot more interesting. I don't know why. I don't know why they haven't why they haven't really been in the room yet or not. Maybe some players maybe like one team was really late getting off of another set or something like that. That's kind of one of the things I've really liked about this playing in Wave A. We played 8 matches. Most pools were 8 matches, and you had like an extra bye. How long did it last? Like 3 hours? Right at 3 hours?
Oh, for me it was like 4.
4.
Like it was like right around 3.5 to 4.
Well, one thing I like about groups as opposed to pool or groups or pools as opposed to like something like Swiss is that when Swiss you have to wait for everybody to finish. You know, like you have to wait for everyone to cross the finish line before you can start the next round. Here it's like, okay, my next opponent is already ready to go. Let's just go ahead and start. And like you kind of go at your own pace as long as your next opponent is ready to go. So it feels like you're moving faster. And maybe to some extent it is. I feel like we played 8 matches in the same amount of time it takes for a low ink Swiss, 6 rounds of Swiss the low ink to be played.
And I think it's partially because of the way that SmashGG runs it. Like I think Battlefy, like they usually generate the next round and you know, it's a bit more structured, but I think SmashGG does give them that freedom. I know people are clowning on SmashGG and like it bricked a lot for a lot of people for a lot of stupid reasons, but there is a reason that it's running a lot faster. But I do think that choosing to go with the larger groups is something that we really haven't seen before. I think it's fascinating.
No, since like Inkstorm, really.
I mean, even Inkstorm didn't have like 10 team groups, I don't think, right?
I guess you're right. These this Wave B pools are a little bit bigger than the Wave A ones. Right. So yeah, these teams are playing 9 matches 9 matches and a bye, as opposed to the 9 with 8 that we played. kind of earlier in Wave
Right.
A, when we were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at the crack of dawn here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Smash GG, did you see Bronze's tweet about about calling Smash GG to start the tournament, and that Smash GG support actually responded to it?
Wait, they did?
Yeah, well, I think it was like an automatic kind of thing. Like they have just like a bot that just kind of searches that. Because like there's no way they would have saw that unless they like actively were searching nonstop for Smash. But
They
was
heard
so
the phone
cool.
call from the other room.
Hello, you want to start your tournament on time? Yeah. I think Wave B started off just fine though. So
Right.
I think most people playing in Wave B weren't even awake when the when we had to make a phone call to the website to start the
There's
tournament. Thank you for the
like,
raid /over.
There were some Pacific Coast players who were up for the first wave.
Oh,
I
you
commend them.
dude, seriously? That
Well,
was,
yeah.
You had to get up at like 5 a.m. just to warm up.
Yeah. Yeah. Insane.
That's,
I could never.
I
I
was
could never play
grouchy.
Splatoon 2.
I was grouchy getting up at like 8:30. No. I got up at like 8:15. I set my alarm for 7:45, and I was like, "Oh heck no, I'm not doing this." So I set it to snooze for 30 minutes, and just played round one, super cranky. And yeah, so but we're at Wave B here, and we're just
Yes, right.
I get the sense that they might not be fully done with some of their other matches or something, or we just kind of kept going on here, which is fine. We like to talk. I mean, it's not as exciting as Riptide, where we have other things to look at going.
Yeah,
around,
other
but
matches and screams coming from across the room.
random pop-offs that have huge implications of the course of the tournament, but we'll never see it because we're stuck so far away from everything.
And the matches themselves will be lost to history because the Nintendo Switch Online doesn't track games that are on LAN, so we can't see the data. So,
That's
you
so
know.
weird. What? I guess because it's not connected to the internet. Well, I mean, yeah,
Right.
you're technically connected, I guess. But
It depends on how they're setting it up. Sometimes it legitimately just doesn't even connect to the service. You know, it's just all through the router. It's all through the switches because it's peer-to-peer. And so it doesn't even have to connect to Nintendo Switch Online to like play a LAN game. Just a little fun fact. But akin to Riptide, this tournament is just a slog. You know?
as far as just like dragging on.
Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
sense,
or just the fact that it takes a lot of mental endurance to keep going. You know, like 9 matches, back to back to back to back to back. It's a lot of games. Like, they're gonna have to play 27 games. 27 games of Splatoon that you're going to have to be playing at your highest performance level for 3.5 hours straight. It's a lot.
have we talked about the number of teams that signed up for this tournament? I think it peaked at like 158 or something like that. That is a lot of people were commenting, is that the biggest tournament ever? No, it's not. It's the biggest tournament we've had in a long time. Obviously, like the not the last season of Nintendo tournaments, but the ones before the December incident of free melee. Those things were getting like what 300 to 600 teams. They were signing up for something like that. Like especially for like the turf war tournaments, like a ton of casuals were coming out for that. So this is 150 for any kind of tournament. Hey, we started.
Let's go.
Here we go. Red Sun taking on Team Orion. Vertigo coming out. Oh, okay. Look at all those shooters coming out. Yeah, this is definitely an older team. It's a B. What?
What? I am a huge V-Shot proponent. I think Splashdown is actually pretty decent on this map in particular, and I love how they're using Sub-Saver to just chuck burst bombs like a Hitzel build. This is hilarious. But unfortunately, they're going 3 down, and it's probably not going to work. I respect the grind, but oh my goodness are these compositions dated.
This is, yeah, I'm about to say, kind of showing your age right there with a T-Tech and a V-Shot. Hey, if you can land the splats, it's going to work out in your favor. But still, no splats coming out early for Team Orion as Red Sun able to kind of force this lockout situation here. You see Beam taking this 1v1 fight on the right side with the in-zap and doing a good job at least not getting the splat, but at least keeping the players alive. Oh, are they going to leave themselves open for a pincer situation here? They just kind of left that player alone. Maybe. Often kind of go with that Inkjet is that T-Tech player that Beam was fighting with a little bit there. But opening minute, a lot of points go into Red Sun. And on this map, Magic, you know I say this a lot, but it's so true. That is a huge score to have on this map because it's hard to score.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's double zones. You can any zone can easily get neutralized. And, if you can just hard lock them out and keep the zone painted and just not even let them close to one of the zones that can easily get painted, then that's a huge push. As we see, getting the ink just splashdown in mid-air, popping it, getting Admir there. That was a great play and showing the versatility of splashdown. If you can be unpredictable with when you're going to use it, Marcus BB in a bit of a sticky situation. Oon's getting the cap for Red Sun, but it's going to go right back to the favor of Team Orion right here. This is fascinating back and forth match, and I thought it was really interesting how Beam intelligently backed up, but the rest of Red Sun did not. And I think that if they had, it would have prevented that pincer. I think that with Vertigo on this tent umbrella, there's not a whole lot to deal with it. They have a couple of lethal bombs, but nothing crazy to deal with that tent umbrella. Especially if it just starts barreling towards a rapid, there's not a whole lot that they can do.
Yeah, Vertigo been playing in the competitive scene for a long time, and it's good to see Vertigo starting to get some notable results. Obviously, winning Low Ink back in March, and Red Sun continuing on after that to be very good in Ludi. So the work that Vertigo has been putting into this tent has been paying off as we see them get a nice splat there on Marku. And now a lot of penalty points starting to get chewed up by Red Sun as we cross the halfway mark here. It has been all Red Sun basically from start to finish. Although there is if they can find a way to get back control of zone, but Beam going down is going to lose a lot of painting power for Red Sun. And the splashdown coming down with that V-Tech, the V-shot from Sphinx down there, able to kind of stall out that zone and eventually does flip back into Team Orion, who did do decently well in their opening push as well, even though they lose two players right here, should go right back to Red Sun.
And that's just the experience showing itself. Did you see how expertly they just maneuvered, using like a little bit of a foxtrot to get in, get two picks, neutralize the zone, and give Team Orion a little bit of breathing room. Here comes Market BB, able to find another pick, and this will look like it's going to be the cap for Team Orion here. They're not out of this yet. They have these tricks up their sleeve. They're mechanically great players. If they can put this push together, they've got all four specials. This could be a lockout situation right here as one goes down. Make that two. The splashdown landing one more time. How are they keep landing these splashdowns? It's very good on this map off of those ramps. They're pushing them all the way back into their tire area, and Market BB smartly taking the rail but then backing out as they realize that the enemy team could come from this left side and use that splash, that bomb rush to come back in, but they've got a very good lockout situation at the ready, and Red Sun needs to be ready to push back in.
You know, Sphinx has been doing a very good job of utilizing their entire kit. Not just the splashdown, but the burst bombs kind of combined together to get a nice... There's another one right there, and that one's huge because that takes down Admir in the zone, and now Vertigo's being the last player left alive. All of a sudden, Team Orion starting to flex here, and the lead goes into their favor with about 35 seconds left to go. They're attacking the Red Sun drop. They're waiting for the players to come down as we see another Inkjet getting built up by Marku as the zone kind of stalls out there. But Beam goes down yet again. Sphinx goes down as well, so it's a trade that might work out into the favor of Red Sun if they can find a way to get control of the enemy zone. They have control of theirs, and now it looks like they have kind of flanked around, and it's going to come down to who gets splatted first, and it is the side of Team Orion that goes down, and now Red Sun bouncing back, but they have to get control of zones, and they do here. They'll have control of zones going into overtime. Can they hold on to them? It's going to be the question, and it looks like probably not with this tent if they can get a splat. No, the suction bomb to the tent shield does them in, and all of a sudden, Team Orion, they figured out, wow, they kind of woke up there at the right time.
These are mechanically skilled players. A lot of these early Splatoon 2 teams, these late Splat 1 teams, they're so really solidly good at aiming and making plays happen, and because of that, they can pick anything that they want and utilize the full kit because they're focused on just making sure that they're doing what they need to do. It's a very different idea of gameplay than we teach nowadays, and because of that, it throws a lot of these teams off balance. And I mean,
school.
how did they land that many splashdowns?
You know, they're probably used to landing more of those back when in like the Squid board days before we kind of realized, oh, if we just aim up, we can just eliminate that special altogether. But you kind of highlighted it. They're going off the ramp. They're getting that extra height. And other than like Admir's Nautilus is the only thing that kind of reached them up there. But you know, you're talking about going up against a tent. If you land a splashdown near a tent, that basically wipes out their shield. And then you kind of follow it up with that burst bomb. It works out really well. I don't know if they're going to do that again here at Tower Control at Art Academy, or what comp they're going to be busting out here. But yeah, this kind of Hanron play style, man, all these teams coming over from like the old days are just stuck in this like run and gun kind of play style, and it's fun to see, and it works. Kind of like you said, we're not used to seeing that. And when a lot of times when you're going up against the comp you're not really used to, that can spell trouble. But still, again, Red Sun, yeah, they lost that game, but that was more so them snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Like, they were in control of that game for the vast majority of it.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say that there were a couple of situations where it seemed like Red Sun was kind of off kilter, and you know, like a couple of interactions go differently in its Orion's fight. But overall, I would say that this is going to be a back and forth set the entire time. And it's going to be, again, that newer style of play versus the older style of play, which is like, and you know, like you were talking about how Splashdown can kind of negate 10. They didn't know that going in.
Right.
But they're saying, okay, how can I use my kit to effectively shut down what they're doing? And it's just such a different mindset of the game. And you know, they see a tent, they think, okay, well, Splashdown can effectively get rid of that. And especially if they pop Bomb Rush, if I Splashdown off of the ramp, it's going to completely negate their push. And it's that kind of thinking of like, okay, how do I use my weapon to its fullest extent? That's the difference that we're going to see.
Tina coming out with the K-Gal. I don't know if Tina's kind of dropped that altogether. And what am I missing here? That is a Sea Blaster, not a drop roller Sea Blaster, mind you, but a Ninja Squid stealth jump Sea Blaster. You know, why not just bust out an Imparry too? Let's just go full 2017 here.
It actually got a kill right at the opening. Tina going down, getting traded right away. But that Ray combined with the pressure and the Ink armor is going to leave Red Sun 3 down as this Sea Blaster is starting to put in the work. They've got the double Inkjet at the ready. Double Inkjet. When have we seen double Inkjet in the past 2 years? This is hilarious. And Admir goes down. Market BB as the drop roller, as the drop lands, and as G1 picks up another one, able to find the picks, and Red Sun is completely getting steamrolled.
This looks like a flip of the script of how the last game ended here. Clearly the momentum bleeding over from how that last game ended. That third checkpoint in position to possibly fall. Now Red Sun starting to respond. It looks like they should find a way to hold on to it. If we could, a beam able to kind of clean up the action there. But still, 2 checkpoints fall in the first minute. That is that is about as close to a knockout punch as you can get in an opening minute there. Red Sun still can get back into this one, but they've clearly lost momentum of the set.
And even though Bean does a very nice pick here, if they're not playing coordinated, if they're not taking these fights together, like look at how separated they are right now. It seems like they're all just kind of trying to find the nearest threat and take it out, but that's not going to work with a team that's got 3 chip damage style weapons and are going to swarm you completely. G1 and Irene here able to work together to take down Delta, and that's another start of a great push. I mean, Irene is literally the backliner here, but they're all the way up, playing aggressively, and then backing up when they need to use the Stingray. Tina, though, flanking. I think Irene saw it, and is going to negate that Ray, at least for a little while, give the chance for Red Sun to get their specials back. Here comes the Booyah Bomb onto the tower. Tina dipping and diving. Here comes the help from Delta, it's going to be a trade, and here comes the armor, and it's looking like Red Sun is finally gaining back at least a little bit of this momentum.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rainmaker. When you have the lead, you want to keep the Rainmaker on the enemy side of the map. The tower is staying on Red Sun side of the map. And now, with 3 players down, the T-Tech being the last player left alive, this is the first opportunity for Red Sun as we cross the halfway point to try to get something going here. Crossing this first checkpoint would be critical, and that blaster is causing a huge problem. 10 KA already with that blaster. They're on pace to get about a 17 or 18 KA, and another pick on Admir, not letting them escape. I wonder if the Ninja Squid is kind of an issue for them because they do have a high painting count, Team Orion, that they can work with, and I think we might see a double inkjet going off at the same exact time right here. That one, the T-Tex is going down, and now the Sea Blaster is ready to go at some time, and Stingray as well. But look at this. Red Sun forced to be back into their own base right now. This is not where they need to be when they're down by 2 checkpoints.
It's not, even if they're trying to do something here, like, oh my gosh. It's just so oppressive. And you know what the funny thing is? G1 had QR, probably stacked QR on most of their abilities, but it literally doesn't even matter because of how oppressive Blaster is, because of how just strong it could be by positioning correctly. And it's like they're playing a different game.
What?
What? You just swam through that bomb? Hold on. What did you on? I know you're memory or something. Come on.
No, we're seeing what you see on spectator cam isn't exactly what is happening on the actual game. The spectator cam kind of bleeds some things through to make everything look more natural, but yeah, that looked kind of weird. One player, Admir, going down from the side of Red Sun. Red Sun kind of doing a good job of combining together. You see 3 people in double digits as far as splats are concerned, but they're just not getting the splats into their favor here. 2 more players going down. Makaru dancing around with the help of a couple of their teammates. Just kind of look, they're not really interested in pushing this tower too much as they're now hopping on it right here. But the most important thing is they have control of mid, and when they have control like this, Red Sun just can't do anything.
And they're baiting them forward. You saw Marcus literally just stepped on the tower, was going on and off until somebody stepped forward to try and take tower, and just popped inkjet and baited them. It's just such a different style of play. And it's fascinating, and I love to see this. And it's really funny because these weapons are meta now, but in 2018, this composition was basically standard.
This is... okay, Red Sun here. Now, 2 checkpoints, and they got to get to that 3rd one, but they can get those players up into the enemy splat there. They can find a way. Admir popping inkjet. If Admir can get a couple of picks, the C-Jet does go down. Delta gets knocked off the tower, gets back on it just in time. And, 3 players going down now. The Blaster being the last player left alive, and they're not going to have inkjet in time. We're looking for... Okay, so the C-Jet player... Oh, Ashley gets a trade. They need to get back onto that tower. Tina gets on it just the amount of time. There's the situation here. Beam jumping right back in. Irene firing that Stingray. Is the Stingray combined with something going to be enough to stop this lead? Oh, they get it. Oh, wait, no, did they? I have no idea.
I have no idea. I didn't see
I don't think they got it. It's going to come down to a little jump. It was so close. They got it! Oh my goodness! By frames! Red Sun, who was dead and gone in this set, despite 20 KA from a freaking Sea Blaster, is tied the setup at 1 apiece.
What did I just watch?
I thought they died right. I thought they died on the tower.
Yeah, I thought they did too. I thought everyone went down.
It didn't say they took lead. It just said they arrived at the checkpoint, which they had to do, basically. But, man, that was just one push. The flip. Talk about a flip of the script. Team Orion flat out dominated the entire game until overtime.
I'm super glad that we're getting 2 Game 3 sets, by the way. And I love that it's the story of new school versus old school.
This is quickly becoming the set of the tournament so far.
Admir's inkjet up, like, they had gotten enough room. It looked like Team Orion had just packed it in, right? They were, all right, we got this. GG's. Let's go home. And Admir's inkjet just started picking off one person, and then another, and then the Ray came in, and it just, all of a sudden, everything aligned. And then Marcus was stuck in booth, and they were able to pick him off, and that was the clearance that they needed. I would need to go back and watch that again. Vertigo's in chat.
Just pretending.
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
well, you're gonna have to keep that momentum going. Now, look, this has been a set about momentum, right? Red Sun had it initially. Team Orion won anyway. Team Orion had it in game 2. Red Sun won anyway. So now, is Red Sun going to come out strong in this Shipyard game? Rainmaker
no.
Shipyard being one of those
Rainmaker
modes where...
Shipyard.
Oh, this is where Red
Yeah,
Sun...
this is where it happened.
Oh, true. True low inkers in chat remember the history here with Stream of Red Sun, the unfortunate DC that initially knocked them out of the tournament until they were brought back in, and it is Admir probably itching to get some revenge on this map and mode on an IPL stream. Working around this left side, Tina back on that brush now as we see a Splash-O-Matic coming out from the side of Team Orion. Admir does make a clean jump right here, but here's an opportunity. It is hard to get a lot of points here, and they do kind of struggle getting around those jumps. They do land it on that left side. Are they going to kind of go for that leap of faith, or are they going to try to go? Tina guarding down that right side, gets a nice splat on that Sea Blaster that is coming right back out. Stingray working in junction with Team Orion as Tina finally gets another splat on the Rainmaker, but push isn't over yet, Magic.
No, it's not over yet. This support from below able to help Marcus, and as the jumps come in, Gino's going to be able to make a lot of space with that blaster. Here comes Marcus, he's got the bomb rush, Delta goes down, and G1 able to pick up this Rainmaker, and they're going to be able to get a quick pop even after these missiles come out. They're not able to find him yet. The quick pop goes down, but Gina very disciplined on this brush, not jumping down and just going for a stray kill. And Delta's going to try and dump this.
I don't agree with that, because you're just giving it right back to the enemy who is more players alive than you do right now. They're just going to pop it and pick it right back up. But if Team Orion can find a way to get splatted a few times by Red Sun, then this push can kind of get negated here. As two players do go down for Team Orion. Red Sun here, able to pop the Rainmaker. Tina does go down, but they do have the man advantage. They can at least get some paint down. 39 is a pretty massive score on this map, and they're kind of opting to go this left side. I mean, if it's clear, it works, but a Stingray instantly shuts it down, as you see right there. We don't see a lot of teams kind of opting to go that right side.
No, we don't. I really don't agree with it, considering the push that they have already. Tina here is sharking around the Rainmaker, maybe trying to find a clearance to that left area, but is going to be able to jump down into this pit and find one, unable to do anything against that ink armor, but it's going to clear out a path for Red Sun as they're here pushing the Rainmaker. They're able to jump across, but it's not going to be a lot of points, not enough that they need. Gion here finds Admir, and it's barely able to shut down a push. They've got the jumps, sure, but just like they did, Red Sun is going to lose this Rainmaker to a jump off. I don't think they have consistent control of mid yet, but they're definitely going to give them enough time to clear out this top left area.
You can tell there's some nerves going on from both teams now. Neither team really wants to lose this as another player goes down, but a nice splat by Sphinx onto the Rainmaker, dodging everybody and getting the splat just specifically on Delta, who was picking up that Rainmaker. But Tina kind of picking up this the brush here has been a bit of a factor on the defensive end, but when an opportunity came to kind of get that last splat on the inzap, it wouldn't really fall into their favor. So if Tina can find a way to get going here with this more offensive weapon and start getting some more offensive splats, Red Sun could be in business. There's two more players going down, and it looks like they are set up shop on this left side, and all the Stingray coming out just now. They are adding to their points, just 1 point away from lead. I don't think they're going to get it. Beam is just a little out of position right there. And you know what? If they had gone that leap of faith route, I think they would have gotten lead. Like jumping.
I think so too. I think it gets to 37, right? Yeah, I think that's what they need to do. Tina getting an interesting flank here, going around trying to find something, but it's going to be 3 down and Andrew left alone here. It looked like Beam wanted to go for that Stingray, and that's why he was out of position right there, but just wasn't able to find it. Irene on this jet, going all the way in, completely away from this Rainmakers. I think it's able to find Delta, and getting complete control of their pit, and moving in with the team is going to be able to clear out this area completely. And then Marcus goes up top left. and is getting missiled. Is going to have to drop. No! He just shoved the Rainmaker up there, putting it in a very bad position for Red Sun to push it as 43 seconds are left remaining with three players alive on each team. And I don't understand why that worked, that Irene pushed up so far, but I guess Jet really is an aggressive weapon.
Both teams trying to force something, especially on that left side by the spools area. And something has to give right here. A trade coming out in mid, 15 seconds roughly left to go. 3v3 situation. More teams on Team Orion starting to push up now, starting to get splashed, but 2 players going down. And it's just Irene who's backing up with that Stingray beam, trying to push up as well now. As Delta picks up this Rainmaker, and yet again, they are going for this left side. It's all or nothing, but that Stingray should shut it down. The missile's fired by Beam, but now there's nothing really to stop the Stingray. Delta just going to have to survive, and they do not.
No.
The Stingray finishes it off, and by 1 point, Team Orion escapes Sturgeon Shipyard with a well-earned win over a feisty Red Sun.
That was a set. And if Beam had gotten one of those missiles off at the right time and stopped the Ray, if maybe if he had gone for that Ray when he was pushing up early, like just a couple of little different decisions, not jumping off the Rainmaker, just a couple of different things, and that could have gone Red Sun's way. And that's really great showing from Red Sun, showing that they're graduated from low ink, right? That they're a team to be reckoned with, and it's good to see them back and doing well. But Orion holding on to their crowns, so to speak.
Yeah, when both teams VOD review that set, especially that final game at Rainmaker, there's going to be so many key moments where they recognize, oh, what if we just jumped into the bridge while I was raised up and got lead? Oh, what if we tried to take it right at this 1 point, or whatever? It's so easy from our point of view, sitting here watching this, having nothing at stake, to be like, oh, well, they obviously made this mistake. But when you're in that moment with the set that they have right here, with all that's been going on leading up to that game 3, it's so hard to make those right decisions. And I think that's why you saw so many players just start autopiloting to an extent of oh, let me grab this Rainmaker and jump it off the side of the edge, even though I'm giving it right back to the mid. Oh, let's keep trying to push left, even though we haven't really been successful when we're trying to do that. So those kind of frantic matches between two teams that desperately want to win are the most exciting to see. And that was a heck of a set. And you know what's up, Magic? Wait till Team Orion, because clearly they just woke up from a 3-year coma. Wait till they find out there's a patch coming out soon that's going to buff Splattershot. Those guys are going to be thrilled.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Splattershot was the weapon of 2017-2018, right? I mean, T-Tech was everywhere. And to see it coming back is a joy to me and a joy to, I'm sure, a lot of the old guard.
Old school, little too much for new school here. I guess on paper, Red Sun's comp wins that matchups, but obviously we're going into the favor of Team Orion. So we're moving right along. We're keeping marching down the road as the Jelly Squids, a well-known low-ink team, is going to be taking on the United Chicken Nuggets.
Yes.
I'm going to call these guys chicken. We're going to have the Jelly Squids versus the chickens here.
What you got against the Nuggets?
The Nuggets?
Yeah.
Like the Denver Nuggets, I guess. Or United. Well, we're not. I guess we're not fans of United here. So Jelly Squids, low-ink team. I feel like they've most recently been in beta bracket. Mark coming over from CIA, joining this team. Angelic, actually, okay, so it looks like it's just a little bit of a syntax error there. Jellies. Oh wait, no, that's their name. Jelly Squids, JS Angelic. This is just Angel,
Might have been a mess
basically.
with Smash GG, yeah.
And United Chicken Nuggets, Mr. Lee, that I want to say they come over from that old Revitalized team. Might have been a member of another, there's 2 teams that spawned off of Revitalized. The Moo, this should be another EU team. The Moo, I believe one of the TOs for Launch Point. if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find some information. But man, a lot of EU teams finding their way here in Wave B.
Like I said, like maybe their evenings were just a little bit too busy, and they enjoy playing at the more late night times, you know?
Notable achievements for United Chicken Nuggets, not available. Interesting facts, not available. Player, Mr. Lee with the K Pro, Moo with Kinsa 52 gal. This is what I always get this Moo confused with the Hyperflow mute.
Right, yeah.
Because they're both Kinsa 52 gals and they're both Moo. And they both go by she, her, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The Mr. Lee on the K Pro, so Splash, Healer, Shard, Neema's going to be playing in here. Looks like they're going to be a Charger player. Representing United Kingdom, Netherlands, and the Germany is the United Chicken Nuggets here.
Should be interesting, especially with the set of maps and modes that we have on deck. Because Clamblitz Macamart and Slatzone's Humpback are not favored by Chargers. I would say.
Yeah, Clamblitz, Mako Mark. I mean, we kind of saw this one earlier on stream. It was one of, closer kind of matchup there. Mark on Jelly Squids is kind of does all things Splatlings, from Hydra to Mini. I believe I've seen them use Mini before, so a little bit of flexibility of what they can pull out there. They can kind of, so it seems like both teams kind of have the capability of going anchor or anchorless. I guess we'll see from United Chickens if they can go anchorless, if they have the kind of the correct roster for it. But yeah, a lot of flexibility is what we're going to need to see here. And what is this, round 6, round 7? This is round 8.
8? Yeah.
This is round 8.
Okay. I played against this team, I think it was the other night, just a bunch in League, and pulling out the Jet Squadron here is the backliner Neba, as she is going to be pumping out a lot of missiles, is already getting missiles this early on, trades going down, and this is going to be a very slow game considering that Hydra.
Yeah, Mark coming out with the Hydra 4 Jelly Squids. Mr. Lee getting a nice splat there on Angel, taking care of the NZAP, working around this mid area here. Yeah, the Hydra can work out really well onto this map if you kind of get set up in the right spots, especially on those stacks on the left and right there, and kind of good defensive positions as well, which is what it looks like Jelly Squids is forced into here as the United Chicken Nuggets are a lot of map control, a lot of clams into their favor. I guess they're just kind of, I don't see a power clam on the board just yet, but they are getting the splats they need as well. In fact, only one player has gone down from on the side of the Chickens at this point. Mr. Lee survives that splat bomb, or that booyah bomb. And yeah, they're just having a little bit of issue getting the clams to the right person and finally getting some points coming out here.
Like I said earlier, the miss, you hate to see it. Thank you, Specam. It's very slow. It's not going to be very fast-paced off from both of these teams. And we saw they were just kind of hanging around in mid until somebody stepped forward and then they threw all their specials out and ended up going for a push, and then they didn't even have the clams to support it. So it's going to be a lot of that. You're seeing it here already. They're going to wait for their specials, they're going to be patient and just pop everything and try and overwhelm their opponents. And we're seeing the same thing from Jelly Squids. Trying to make a move on this right stack, seems like they're not really going to be able to find anything. Buddy trying to find some clams. His team was throwing them to him, but he didn't really find them just quite yet. One player going down the side of Jelly Squids, and they're able to find Mr. Lee. And they have 9 clams, and they're trying to find something as they go towards the basket, but it's not going to lead to anything. A little bit of a miscommunication, miscoordination on the side of Jelly Squids, as this is about halfway over.
Yeah, both team, yeah. Honestly, a lot of time has gone off the clock without much happening. Oh, a little 52 fall off on the Hydra from Moo. But we've seen a lot of splats. We've seen both teams have control of a good portion of the map for an extended period of time, but we just haven't seen anything as far as what would show up on the scoreboard be affected here. But 3 players going down for the Chickens, the Jelly Squids, now starting to push up yet again. All 4 of those players on that stack? No, just 3, and those missiles are going to force them to separate as Jelly Squids now forced to kind of back up, and 2 more players going down. Surely they're going to find a way to get us some points going up here. Mark picking it up and gets denied by what appears to be one of the few players left alive for the Chickens. So, yeah, I'm genuinely surprised we've only had one team score right now. There's been opportunities for both teams.
There's been opportunities, but it's all about transferring those advantages, and if they're unable to do so successfully, especially if they're not used to it with these backline style compositions, it's going to be a little tricky. And they just seem to never have the clams quite at the ready, even though they've got a power clam sitting here from that first and only score. As we've got a minute and a half left, this next push is going to be crucial. Whoever gets this next push off in the minute and gets it successfully is probably going to be in the driver's seat for this final push. The armor comes out and they've got all of the specials online. Mr. Lee going down on that K-Pro, but Buddy is all the way back here and all of his teammates are in mid trying to fight for something.
It's like both teams are kind of scared of making that incorrect play instead of trying to go out and make the right play. And now 2 players down for Jelly Squids, but the question is, are the Chickens going to respond? Nima kind of, okay, I was about to say, that was your window to get some points there, and they do find it, but 2 players going down immediately. Make that 3, so Missile's getting fired here by the player who scored the basket and is jumping back, but free reign is there for Jelly Squids if they choose to take it. Muddy kind of pushing up, but kind of being up there by themselves. Does have suction bomb rush to work with. Does have some armor as well. And if the players can get in the right position, they do have the clams they need to take the lead. The question is, can they get the splats to follow up with it?
That's the question, especially if they get flanked here on this long side stack. It's not going to be any of use. Jelly Squids going all down here in the last 30 seconds. It's probably the worst possible thing that could happen. Now they're not going to have access to any clams, and they're going to need to jump out with the 4 that they even have. They do have the power clams sitting here from the times that the United Chickens have pushed, but this is looking like it's going to be the game for the Nuggets. If they guess this score right here, that's exactly what they're going to do. That Jelly Squid's just completely backed up into their own base, and that's going to be the clam to seal it.
One player managed to get double-digit KAs in that one, and it was the Splash-O-Matic as the Chickens get the shutout, a 5-minute shutout against Jelly Squids there. But yeah, look, 9-9, 8-4, 10-7, 5-4. Very, very, very passive game from both teams. Neither team really kind of committing to trying to make something happen. And still, ultimately, the Chickens just had the better window and struck when they had the opportunity to do so. So now Splat Zones at Humpback Bump Track, making a little bit of that transition there. We know Mark can switch it up with the Splatlings if they choose so, even though that Hydra seemed to be doing pretty good. They just, again, it's not really the Hydra's fault of pushing up, but the Hydra can kind of help create space for the rest of the teammates to push up there. But the question is going to be, now all you got to do is put paint on the zone, so you don't have to worry about throwing clams to each other. You don't have to. The objective is a little bit more simpler. So can the Jelly Squids kind of respond now, knowing all they got to do is put paint on the ground and then just get the splats from there?
If they decide to go with Hydra again, they're going to have to figure out some way to neutralize Nima. Because, I mean, 10 missiles. Imagine getting hit with 10 plus missiles of the Hydra on any map mode. You're never going to be able to fire off enough shots to be a lot of use. And because of that, I think that's kind of the struggle that they were running into. It seemed like anytime they were trying to get set up for something, they were the ones getting engaged upon first because of the missiles, because of the pressure. And that's kind of just a symptom of playing on Macomart, but also a symptom of picking Hydra on Macomart. And you have to be ready for that. And it seemed like they weren't.
Moves K-Gal going to be very, very effective here. The buff, or the nerf, I should say, coming out pretty soon for the K-Gal. Honestly, I don't think it's that big of an issue. It's just, paint's a little bit less. Yeah. Yes, 10 more points to get a Booyah Bomb. Okay, I just got to paint. I just got to fire off paint for like an additional second to make that up. All right. But regardless, in the current patch that we're in right now, K-Gal's still going to be very strong. I always like to say he who brings the most Booyah Bombs will win this one. That's not always directly the case. You need some other specials to chase some players out of the zone as well. But special usage, obviously not an issue for the Chickens. 10 missiles getting fired, as you kind of mentioned out. Yeah, obviously as a Hydra, you don't want missiles on you the whole time. You can work around it, but it does make things a little bit more difficult as we do see teams finally starting to ready up here. United Chickens looking to end this one early with 2-0. Jelly Squids looking to bounce back, and that is a remix coming out from Mark.
Yep.
So one Booyah Bomb, no, actually 2 Booyah Bombs on the side of United Chicken as well with that K-Pro.
And it's going to be an interesting decision. LDE on that heavy splatling. I guess I understand why it would be beneficial. Being able to put out a ton of shots. But that just seems very, very interesting to me. It seems like it wouldn't synergize too well. And speaking of synergy, if you can get this flank off, especially if you're a K-52, you're going to be eaten very well. Trying to throw this Booyah Bomb out and is able to get it off, but not able to do a lot with it. And this brush and this CDS are going to be present in the zone until they're not. Okay.
Yes, the Kinsa Octobrush with the hammer already with 2 splats on the side of Jelly Squids. And they've got a lot of paint that they can kind of work with to get... Oh, a very nice fall off. And a nice double, actually. Can they get a triple here? Mr. Lee working around this backside as one more player kind of goes down. They do get taken down. That hammer brush player is the last one left alive. Wisely kind of backs off here. And this is, if you're the Jelly Squids, this is where you just want to start building up those specials that you have something to work with. Missiles getting fired early from the chickens. If they can just dodge those specials. Oh, and gets taken down. Oh, and they canceled the Booyah Bomb that doesn't get thrown at zone. This is starting to look like a KO.
This is looking like an easy KO. Even the Arcase is getting in on the action. 10 left, and they're all going to be focused on zone. The Junior able to get some kills, standing up to this wall, looking down at his opponents. That was a little nasty, I'm not going to lie to you guys.
A little brush of the afro there as the United Chickens get control of zone and don't look back, winning the set 2-0 over the Jelly Squids. The Jelly Squids had they had the specials they needed. It's just they got picked before they could fire them off, or they threw the specials somewhere else trying to get a pick instead of trying to stall the zone. So I like the idea from the Jelly Squids. It's just the Chickens started applying pressure and forced Jelly Squids to make a decision, and ultimately the decisions they made worked out more into the Chickens' favor than the Jelly Squids.
It's tough. It's tough getting that 2-0 when the first game seemed so within grasp. But the Chicken Nuggets were in control the entire time. And that could be said about the Splatoon match or Society. Depends on how you look at it.
And I believe we have... I think we're supposed to get one more match here on stream. That was our 4th match that we did. I think we're trying to get one more because there are 9 rounds as opposed to 8 that was in Group A there. So I guess my question is, are these guys like in the room? Do we have a little bit of a what's the time situation here? I talking to someone you guys cannot hear.
But we're gonna look at these rosters real quick, and the Twinkies is a pickup with some very notable players. Actually, I see XVC, just a solid frontline player. Hone Edge, a Dooley player, very solid, very just notable. Violet, another strong frontline player, and then Archer, who was on Universal, I believe, for a while and has been making his way up the ranks. And on the other side, we have Pandora with some also notable players. We see Taco, Cuber, Eclipse, Rhythm. Rhythm, one of the original Arctic Moon members from a while ago. And, we're going to see a lot of buckets. We're going to see Eclipse on that T-Tech as well to match Violet. We're going to see Cuber, a backline player, probably running into an anchorless composition, unless I'm mixing up Honage and Emmett. No, Emmett's the Charger.
No, I think you're right there.
And then Taco, kind of like under the radar aggro, but still a solid player mechanically, and I believe in +3. So, this is, I believe, the alpha beta border game, unless somebody got upset somewhere along the line.
I think this was projected according to the seedings that the winner of this one would move on to alpha and the loser would fall down to beta. That is who knows if that's still the case going forward? I mean, we could probably look that up
I'm looking it up right
in
now.
a quick second. But yeah, Twinkies, no stranger to IPL. This is that one team. There's like 2 pickup teams that usually dominate SOS every Wednesday night. One of them is literally called Pickup. The other one is this team, who are currently going by Twinkies. It seems like Archer just basically bounces around for whatever team is currently continuing to win that SOS. So a lot of pickups. These players very experienced in doing pickups as Twinkies. Pandora, obviously, you kind of listed out there. Someone in chat was saying Cuber can't play. And there's only 4
really?
players listed on this roster, so I don't know who the other player for Pandora is. Or if this is like a pickup or not. So we'll see if we can get some information on that as well as we wait for these teams to start readying up here.
So I did look at the bracket. It seems that Pandora, the Eclipse Cuber Rhythm Taco pickup, was upset by the deep fried Octolings.
No.
Yeah.
No. Are you for real?
Yeah.
Like 2-1?
Yeah. It looked like
deep fried Octolings? What group are we
the
looking at here?
deep fried Octolings, baby. And that's an upset. That is for sure an upset. I mean, Eclipse Rhythm Taco, like, these are notable players who are in plus servers and private servers everywhere. And the deep fried Octolings taking that match is crazy.
That is a good win for the deep fried Octolings. That is for sure. Winners of Low Ink, I want to say in June. Very strong Div 5 team that wouldn't be considered Div 5 anymore if those things were updated. If any of you still care about divs right now, you're weird. What pool did you say they were in?
B1. And so
B1.
Twinkies has only lost to King, so they're still on track to be second place. But Pandora needs to get this win to force a 3-way tie that's going to come down to game wins. So let's look at the scenarios right now. So the Twinkies is 14-4, Pandora is 13-5. I believe that means that Pandora needs to 2-0 if they want to be above them in game wins. So they need to go 2-0 in this set to get above Twinkies. And then the deep fried Octolings, what are they at right now? They're at 13-6, and they still need to play their last set.
Okay, but so check this out. If Pandora if Pandora beats Twinkies 2-1, they're going to be tied as far as number of wins and losses. Exactly perfect. And people are going to clown on me for not knowing this, but I don't know what I would assume the second tiebreaker for that, unless it's a 3-way tie. If it just comes down to those 2 teams, it might be head-to-head. So even if Pandora doesn't win this one 2-1, if they don't win it 2-0 and they just win it 2-1, they might own like the head-to-head tiebreaker, because they'll be perfectly tied as far as like wins and losses in that scenario. So yeah, there are some actual implications on the line here as far as somebody playing into the bracket. Now, Kings just had a field day with this bracket. They are 18-0. They're done, and they played every single match, so they're a lock to make alpha. But yeah, wait, are you saying the deep fried Octolings could find a way? They play Nightshade.
Yeah, so they have to play Nightshade, and they're at 13-6 right now. So that's the important thing, that they already have 6 losses. So there's so many actual situations where this could go right now. It's going to depend a lot on the set that the deep fried Octolings play. And you know, we're assuming that they're going to beat Nightshade here. But that might not be the case. And if they go 2-1, then they're going to have 15 wins. So this is going to be crazy. So Twinkies definitely needs to win at least one game here, right?
Yes. Yeah, if they get 2-0, they're done.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, the tiebreaker can't work in their favor. It'd be impossible. You know what really screwed this up? Deep Fried, yeah, they beat Pandora. They also took a game off of Twinkies. So it wasn't like that was just a fluke. Like, something happened to the Deep Fried Octolings here in Wave B, and they've just been, okay, we see you. We see you. June low ink champions. But we're waiting for Pandora and Twinkies. And again, we still don't really know. People in chat were saying Cuber's not playing.
Yes.
But they only have 4 people in their roster, at least as far as what we see here. So I guess we'll find out right now.
I believe, according to our commentary team, Random, a shooter player, is going to be subbing in for Cuber, and that's going to really have implications for the set, as we see Righty, Honedge, Archer, and Violet go up against Taco, Random, Rhythm, and Eclipse for a very contested B1 pool. And the pop gets 2, and Twinkies are off to a running start as Random is getting found by Honedge here. Not able to find the kill quite yet, but they're already down to 30.
Rainmaker.
They're going all the way. Where's the Rainmaker? They're already gone.
Yeah, well, we were stuck on Random for a long time, but now we're back to the Rainmaker that does get finally stopped by Pandora. The last player left alive was stuck in mid. Didn't really matter because the Rainmaker was just escaping. Rhythm opting to pick it up right here instead of letting it reset. So they are going to try to get a push going here. Now, you can either... We haven't seen this map in a while. The right side is kind of the way everybody likes to go. You can go for a home run if you go through mid, but the right side is going to be difficult to cross when there's a hammer just sharking on the wall. Ultimately gets the splat on Rhythm.
That was some great dancing by Rhythm to at least prolong his life. But unfortunately, the rest of Pandora is going to go down. Also, just to throw this one out there, this is the second vanilla heavy set that we've seen in this in just the matches that we've seen on stream. Is it making a resurgence? Am I missing something? I guess if people like the Stingray.
I think it's just the players specifically. I believe this is Radia or Ridai. But this is another one of those players that has been playing pretty consistently with that pickup team that's been doing really well in SOS. They do a lot of the hero splatling and a lot of remix specifically, as now 3 players going down. Taco kind of pushed up deep into this enemy base. Might need the jump back here because there is a potential KO situation being stared down by Twinkies.
Oh my gosh.
As a lot of players are in the right position. There goes the hammer by Violet that does get taken down. Archer kind of stuck with nowhere left to go, and his last player sneaks away from everybody and adds to the lead up there. Oh, how did they lose sight of that?
I guess that they were just focused on the ray and the heavy that was coming up, and the hammer that had gone off in a different direction, and Honedge would come behind them, and it caused just enough chaos to let him sneak by, and that was very solid play. Taco here on the bomb rush, trying to get a little bit of space. We do see Archer sharking here. Gonna be able to get found out. Here comes the Ray. Eclipse is trying to find their way to Righty. Rhythm does get taken out, but unfortunately, Random couldn't even get out of there. It seems like every time they try and make a push, they're just stopped in their tracks by 1 or 2 specials and just not getting the picks that they need.
In their own right, that was a pretty good push. Getting the 31 points remaining is a decent push. It's just when the other team has made a push that is better, it just kind of feels like you're coming out empty-handed. But the pushes are coming for Pandora, and you still got 2 minutes to work with. It's just going to be a matter of can they get the right splats at the right time, and they can get the lead right back into this one, because they have definitely slowed down after that fast start that Twinkies kind of pushed out at them. It looks like Rhythm, being the main Rainmaker carrier, opting to pick it up yet again with the Kinsa machine working around this right side. Eclipse now flanking through mid. Flips gets taken down though, which forces all these players stuck on the right side, trying to dodge the Stingray, trying to dodge some splat bombs, trying to get some splats as they can work with here. And now comes some more subs being thrown their way as well, as the Eclipse comes right back into the action. The hammer is online for Twinkies, and they're probably sharking on some wall somewhere, just waiting for the fly to go past the spider web before they pop it at some point. Actually, Violet gets taken down, but it is too much for Pandora to overcome. Just nowhere to go for that Rainmaker.
No, it seems like they're just getting snuffed out completely. Not that they're bad players on the side of Pandora, but it just seems like there's not enough coordination in terms of how they're trying to get their picks, how they're trying to position during these pushes. They were all stuck in that corner. Just trying to dodge the specials that were coming their way, and they needed to fire back with their own instead of just diving in like they're doing right now. That's 3 down, maybe 4, as Random is left alone here. 30 seconds left, and it's about matching the game timer to the Rainmaker timer, so they could probably just sit in this court area, force it into a really bad spot for Pandora to take it out from, and I believe that's exactly what Archer's going to do, play pretty safe on this Rainmaker. Yeah, backing up even. This is going to be very hard for Pandora to come back from, even if they do get a couple of picks, because this Rainmaker's going to find at least one more, maybe two, maybe three. Honage is here as well. The jump's coming in, and it's going to be 1 versus 1 over on the side of near the Rainmaker. Honage is trying to find Taco. They're trying to get a quick pop-off, and it seems like they're able to. Eclipse goes down. Yep, nope, that's it. Oh, Twinkies looking pretty sweet right now with the taste of victory.
Opening push dominated by Twinkies, and you like to see, even though you get a huge lead in the opening push, you like to see that you're able to get more pushes over the course of the game. So it's not just a one push that you got to hold on forever. No, they were keeping the aggression up, keeping Pandora, who did have their chances to win that one, mind you.
Yes.
It's just kind of the opening a little bit better into Twinkies' favor. So Pandora not out of this one just yet. And of course, if you're keeping up with the tiebreaker scenarios for this specific pool that Magic kind of broke down beforehand, Twinkies might have already done themselves a huge favor, even if they lose these next two, just by winning one game. Obviously, getting 2-0, if they 2-0 Pandora right here, they'll put all doubts to bed, and they'll basically be all but guaranteed a spot into Top Cut, regardless of what the Deep Fried Octolings do in their set against Nightshade. McClamblets here at Piranha Pit. Splatling obviously being a very a huge issue for Pandora, as Rydie or the Splatling player was able to kind of pop off there, getting up close to like 13 or 14 KA with the hero Splatling shot. So they'll have a little bit of mobility to work with here. Might be able to bust out a remix. Might be. I've seen them use Hydra before as well, and ballpoint, as we do see that they are going to go with that ballpoint.
Ooh, ballpoint.
The nouveau with Beacons and Rain.
Yep, that's going to be Beacons and Rain. We see 3 mains of run speed trying to be as quick as Sonic, trying to move around this pillow area, trying to help out Violet on this T-Tech, and they're able to find 1, maybe even 2 over in this corner. They do find Eclipse here as Rhythm comes in, try to aid them, and that's going to be 3 down already. And Twinkies is really just taking every single fight properly in this set. They seem like they're not losing any. And if they are, then they're just mitigating it.
This is a map where you can get a KO if you get into the right position, and that looks like Twinkies are getting dangerously close to that. None of their players are getting splatted. Again, that is the first player to go down. Violet gets a trait, and all of a sudden there comes a wipe, but damage done. 24 points remaining, and if you're Pandora, yeah, you just gave up a whole lot of points, but you have a window here to strike really quickly because you got to wipe pretty much at the same time. All those players from Twinkie going to be spawning back in as missiles come out and Suction Bomb Rush ready to go here, as you do see Pandora get into the enemy base, but they don't have the clams connected to the right people to get a push going.
You see how the Twinkies was split up there, and they tried to make sure that they were able to get a pincer off and protect this sort of line right near their basket, and that's exactly what they were trying to do. They were trying to cut off any players who were stuck on their side of the basket, near their basket, from the clam supply, and they were able to do that successfully in pincer, and because of this they got into an advantageous fight here on the left side, able to take down 2, maybe even 3, doesn't look like it, but they're going to have to drop this ball, and all of that work that Pandora did after that push from Twinkies was out the drain, down the drain. Top Gun, this is looking like it's going to be a hard one to win.
Well, they still have some 3 minutes to work with here. Now, you don't want a ballpoint pushing this deep into your base, but well, with missiles and suction Fizzy Bomb, they might be able to find a way to get something going. JK, the ballpoint's just going to get a triple right here and basically blow this game wide open. That is a wipe on the side of Pandora. Violet throwing in some clams here. This looks like a KO situation unless those players spawn back in very quickly and cut off the clam supply. Violet trying to body block just long enough. And, oh, they do find a way to get some more clams in there. They do have enough to get the KO. Can they get them all in? The ballpoint, being the last player left alive, just needs 2 more clams. Instead, is just going to back off, realizing they got what they came for. 6 points remaining, about 2.5 minutes left to go here. But Pandora, who is currently down, has yet to score in this match, is forced back, and they're trying to push out right here, forcing some players back. So they do capture a little bit of control here, but can they do anything with it? They don't have a lot of clams right now.
No, they do not, and they're trying to find these picks, but they're only getting trades. They're trying to find clean ones. But with these specials coming out and the pincering from either side, it's looking like they're just not able to find anything clean. Even with the clips on these CDS, they're not able to find these kiting picks. Righty found it a bit of a precarious situation finally as the missiles come out. But even then, it's still dicey. They still don't have clams. They still don't have what they need to make a successful push.
2v2 situation right here, random getting taken down. That ballpoint's been a real issue as all 4 players have now crossed double digits in splats for the side of Twinkies. So a nice balanced attack coming out from the team trying to secure their spot into alpha bracket as and again, it looks like they're going to get the points or keep the aggression up at the windows presented to them, but right now they're kind of content with just kind of holding control of mid, just kind of bleeding this clock out. Dropping that bomb.
Wow. The fake out.
That was kind of dirty as yet another wipe comes in. And this looks like a situation the power claim is going to be bopped and opened. And there's your KO. And Twinkies avoids tiebreaker scenarios all around, breaking the hearts of deep fried Octoline fans everywhere as they secure their second place spot in alpha bracket from this group.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. I believe Deep Fried Octoling needs to 2-0 if they want to be placed above Pandora in the seedings for beta bracket, but both of those teams are going to be sent to beta bracket. You will see them tomorrow, and you will see Twinkies in the top 32 in this alpha bracket tomorrow here on IPL during a wonderful stream with some amazing commentary.
That was, hey, yeah, you're right. That caps it off. We're done. That is the end of a very lengthy day one. I woke up at 8:15. It is now about 7 o'clock Eastern time, almost 11 an hour. There was a little bit of a break, but still about 11 hours of competitive Splatoon have been played here today on SuperJump. What a great celebration of all things that are competitive Splatoon, all the things we love here in this community. Low-level teams, mid-level teams, top-level teams. Everybody came out, showed up. All of you in chat as well saw some great action today. And it's just a good all-around event. It's as we see some more events on stream. Are we supposed to plug this?
Did Dura put that together, or like what is this?
What? It's not a pyramid scheme. Oh yeah, King of the Castle clearly. While we're kind of looking at some of these other tournaments that are going on, not just with IPL, but other orgs around the scene here. Magic, where can people find you?
People can find me at Magic8_ball on Twitch. I streamed my perspective for playing in the tournament in Wave A earlier, and you can find me on Twitter at Magic_Octo if you enjoy funny tweets and information from around the competitive Splatoon community. One last thing before I sign off, what I wanted to say is that I believe this is the largest grassroots tournament that has been hosted in competitive Splatoon. I could be wrong on that one. I haven't looked at some of the Squidboards numbers, but the Ink TV Opens never got anywhere near 150 teams. So this is a very big tournament, and I'm so glad that people came out to support it. Talkin, where can the people find you?
You can find me at my local Applebee's in about an hour or so. I'm assuming my wife's team, Peer Pressure, has wrapped that up, and I'm starving, so we need to go out to eat. That's where you can find me. Or maybe at Twitch at PopGun25 for the Popcast on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, because we're going to be talking about all things SuperJump, everything you've seen today, some things that you're going to see tomorrow as well. We're going to be recapping it all. And with that, all of us here at IPL, our lovely producer Toasty behind the scenes running the stream for us for Wave B, all the staff that has been working deep into the night the last couple of days to put on this tournament for you, and we'll be working deep into the night the rest of today and tomorrow to make sure day 2 is successful. We thank you for watching this stream. We thank you for playing in and supporting all things competitive Splatoon, and we will see you back here tomorrow at noon Eastern time, I believe, for the epic conclusion of IPL's first major, SuperJump.